Archie, luxury jumps on a Boeing jet, leaves behind the family, no regrets. He's got a birthday on your old Shanghai, eyes are on Mrs. Lai, the reason why. While in Brisbane the tears roll strong, Chinese whispers called him to Hong Kong. Pack up your bags and off you go, leave behind the begging for the Luxy show. Archie flies where the dragon soared to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Archie's chasing dreams in the mystic land. Mrs. Lai brings coffee to his hand. Family's calls echo on the phone. He's miles away, lost but he's not alone. In old Shenzhen's glow, he likes to stray. With Mrs. Lai they bonk till the light of day. Pack up your bags and off you go. He's not showing up to New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Though the tears roll down in Brisbane town, Archie's 3-inch dick flops all around. Celebrations in the neon night, forgetting home he's chasing new Asian delights. Pack up your bags and off you go, leave the begging for the beach ball show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Weeks later Archie leaves his playground, comes back home, he's Brisbane bound. Comes up with stories that he's going bust, has to fool the punters to gain their trust. Pack up your bags and off you go, leave the begging for the beach ball show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Archie spent the punter's money, he's in a fix, spins a story that he can't eat bricks. All the lonely simps believe his scam, grab all their cash, shove it in his hand. Pack up your bags and off you go, he didn't bother with the New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore. Comes on streams, he cries poor again. He's made 10, gives him $5 grand, maybe 10. Archie thinks he's a big swing dick, cause the punters fall for his gypsy shtick. Pack up your bags and off you go, didn't bother with the New York watch show. Archie flies where the dragons soar to romance Mrs. Lai until his balls are sore.
Welcome to the program. Welcome to the show, guys. This is the Archie Luxury live stream and the Archie Luxury channel coming to you guys live about an hour early. We've got a bit of a bonus round. I'm going to do some watch talk for you guys. I'm your host, Patel Philippe, the narrative, the zeal, whatever the fuck you want to call me. But we're going to be talking a bit of watches before old big boy shows up and sinks the show. But before we do that, let's say hello to everybody who's joining in on the chat, joining in as we get started here. First in the chat was Aaron Fletcher, who told me, good evening. Hi, Patel Philippe. I'm from Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Nice to see you, Aaron Fletcher. We got Rich Mitch, who loves the watch talk in the UK. Yes, yes, yes. It's 10 p.m. over there for our friends in the UK. We got one, you see it in the chat, always dropping the KFCs and the Archies, the only. It was funny because like they came up with like back in the day. I think when I was beefing Bear and those guys, they came up with the term like the Good Guys Alliance, and I'm like, man, y'all could have just called it Only Tans, and it would have been a lot better. But hey, marketing genius for those guys, right? We got BC always telling us it's pure shit. Now, Plastic, you know what? I saw your message when I was waiting here in the background, so I do have this Solid Gold Dancer video, so I'm going to play it for your Plastic real quick for the crowd.
Solid Gold Dancer, shining all night. Ooh, yeah. Solid Gold Dancer, ooh, moving so right. Solid Gold Dancer, ooh, giving new life. Ooh, yeah. Solid Gold Dancer, flashes a smile. She stands alone, moving all alone. Solid Gold Dancer, and she shines like one. The crowd thins out, she still dances, yeah. A solid gold dancer, she dances dances solo. Solid gold dancer, hold it, not ready to leave. Yeah. Solid gold dancer, oh, still long gone are the ordinary ones. She stands, moving all alone. Solid gold dancer. Oh, 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 and she shines like one.
Oh shit, I was on mute. I said, there you go, Plastic. That was for you, sir. We are actually going to be talking about the Solid Gold Dancer. That's why I played this. I thought it would be a good intro to the watch topic that I have today, but appreciate you joining us in the chat. We got Plastic in the house. Now, an acquired taste does say Plastic's content is on watch. Now, I thought that song was actually pretty fire. I think that Plastic, send me that MP4. I can upload it into the stream, so we don't have to keep going to your shorts. So send me the MP4 on like WhatsApp or something, and we'll get that uploaded. Dirk Diggler was asking for doing Brigade talk. Nah, fuck the loser talk, man. We're gonna talk Rolex for the next little bit. Bugsy Malone, an OG of the channel. Nice to see you, sir. It's my second favorite intro. Good to see you, Bugsy. We got Jimmy in the chat. Hello and good afternoon from Canada. There you go, Jimmy. We got NATO in the chat. Mrs. Wilkinson, who's saying, please take care of Archibald's balls, for they are very precious. Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Wilkinson. We got Omar in the chat. I don't know how to pronounce this name. We got G. Godwa in the chat. Patel. And Rob Filmer, Azza in the chat, and America's Army. All right, guys, nice to see everybody. I've caught up with the chat. Let's talk about the Solid Gold Dancer. A lot of talk around the gold sub. Archie's kind of even leaked that he's looking to buy a gold sub himself. I think Plastic has gotten into it. This is actually one of the funniest shticks I think I've seen Plastic do, is actually influencing Archie into buying a watch that, Plastic's owned the gold sub for a long time. And it's not like Archie's itched for the gold sub since Plastic's owned it, right? Archie made fun of him, often for, putting on the protection film on the watch and whatnot. Never really did I see that Archie itched for the gold sub as much as like the propaganda like campaign that Plastic is on. Plastic's got a lot of nice watches. He's got Batgirl. I think he's got a Hulk. He's got like a lot of good Rolexes. And it's just funny that this is the one that's like really got into Archie's head. But I think that's a good thing, because a lot of us that are fans of the Archie Luxury channel, we always love that era when Archie has a gold sub. He's got the most confidence when he's got that sub. He's sticking it in the air. He's putting it in people's faces. He's telling people, fuck you, get out of my way. I got a gold sub, right? So we're going to talk about the history of the gold sub, the Submariner itself. And well, obviously anybody in the chat who wants to change the topic, talk about other things, more than happy to entertain everybody until old big boy shows up. What's going on, JDM? Nice to see you, bro. We got our first super chat of the night. Rich Mitch, £2 British. Thank you so much, Rich Mitch. Sold the Black Bay 58, only lost 20%. Now, Rich Mitch, did you buy it from retail? Obviously not surprising if you bought it from retail. I actually like the Black Bay 58. I think it's probably the perfect size of the Black Bay. Not everybody. Now, look, the thickness of the Black Bay never really bothered me. It was more of a construct of what I'd read online or people would complain about on the streams and whatnot. I never really noticed that. I never really minded the Black Bay 41 or the Black Bay original in the 41 mil size. But when they went down to 39, it's funny, Rich Mitch, when that watch came out, it was the same year that the Rolex Pepsi came out, because I remember going to the Rolex event. This is when Baselworld was still a thing. After Baselworld, what Rolex would do is they would take a lot of the new stock, on the road to dealers, and they would do these kind of like wine and cheese hors d'oeuvres type night, invite obviously VIP clients to the authorized dealer to see the new models. So I obviously got an invite through our good friend Ronnie Paul. Ronnie Paul lives in Toronto and had the hookup at one of the authorized dealers in Toronto. Called me up and he said, hey, Tan, would you like to come? So I flew down to Toronto, went with Ronnie Paul to the Rolex event. I got to try on the Pepsi. And for me, the Pepsi, when it first came out, like it was love at first sight. I put that on the wrist. I was like, this is a perfect watch. This is a banger. This is going to sell out. And this was at a time, guys, when GMTs weren't like crazy hyped. And, you could buy the previous 16710. I remember buying it around that time for like fucking 5,000 Canadians, really 5,000-6,000, really low price. The second that watch came out, like all of the pre-ceramic Pepsis just went fucking bonkers. And yeah, like so the same day or in the same event, Rich Mitch, the Black Bay 58 came out at the same time. And I remember after I tried on the Pepsi, I was all smitten with the Pepsi, and I was all, and I went to, I just kind of started perusing around what was at the AD, and they also had the Black Bay 58, which was brand new as well. And I remember this really attractive like saleswoman who's like, no, try it on. I'm like, nah, 39 mils. I mean, I'm a man, right? Like, I need that big fucker, right? Big size, right? And she's like, no, like try it on. And I was like, all right, fuck it, right? So I tried it on, Rich Mission. I was actually like surprised at how well it fit in that 39. Obviously slimmer. So I never really had a qualm with the regular size Black Bay, but I always thought the 58 was the perfect size. I'm also a fan of the 54, ironically, but for different reasons. Not really. It's a small watch. People will say it's a small watch if they put it on the wrist. The reason why I like the Black Bay 54 is it is probably the only modern watch I've ever worn that actually feels like a vintage watch, right? You see a lot of these, watches that are coming out, faux patina, vintage, retro inspired type looks, but they never really cut the mustard. When you put on that Black Bay 54, I mean, I've owned a lot of vintage Rolex, and that feel is very similar, obviously with modern technology. So I always like the Black Bay 54 for different reasons. I think from a size perspective, the Black Bay 58 is kind of that sweet spot. Ozzy Expat says the Black Bay 58 was hype. I think it's still hype. I think it's a great watch. How's it going, Ryan Hoffman? I see in the chat we got Hippo Lord. Hello, 10. I see Hippo Lord. All right, let's talk about the Rolex Submariner. So the solid gold dancer, everybody. This is, this is a solid gold dancer. It's not the solid gold dancer that is the 41 mil that we're used to seeing on the wrist of Plastique. This is the Rolex 1680 Submariner date. This is the first Rolex gold sub, Rolex solid gold dancer, whatever you want to call it. And it really, it was a very pivotal time in Rolex's history, and why this watch is, I would say, historically significant to Rolex. Outside of it being literally one of my most favorite Rolexes of all time, I think the gold sub, black dial, blue dial, you can't go wrong. I think it really, has a different aura in and of itself. But I want to talk to you guys about the history, why the gold sub is important, because it is actually historically significant. I will start that in a second once I get this super chat from Rich Mitch, £2 British. Thank you again, Rich Mitch. My 58 was on an OEM strap. Wasn't great to wear. Actually, Rich Mitch, I owned a Black Bay 58 blue with the, I don't know if it's like a felt strap, or I also had the strap. I think it's called like a textile or fabric strap, they call it. And yeah, look, was it as nice as the bracelet? Not really, but it wasn't bad, man. I honestly didn't mind it on the strap myself. So, I guess different strokes for different folks on that. For example, if you're talking about like the Omega Seamaster 300, the wave dial, in the new models, I actually prefer those on the rubber than I do on the bracelet. I fucking hate the Omega Seamaster bracelet. I think that is one of the worst bracelets of all time, as well as one of the worst bezels of all time. Scallop bezel on those watches are absolute fucking hot trash. But back to the Rolex Submariner in gold. Okay, so why is this historically significant? So the 1680 is the first time the Rolex Submariner goes from a no-date model to a date model. So I'm going to show you guys an era before the 1680. This is a Rolex 5508. And you can see here, obviously, no date on the dial. This is what we refer to as the Submariner. I don't really always call it the no date. I just call it the Submariner. And then when you have, after a decent period, I think it was over a decade of these Submariners without date, and these were marketed as tool watches. Right, you got sports watches and you got tool watches. Right, this was a tool watch. This was meant to be used for diving. I mean, I don't need to explain that to you guys, but it was a purpose-built watch for a specific function. And for a long period of time, and Rolex was very successful in selling these tool watches. And with the rising success of the brand in and of itself, more and more people gravitated to these as luxury goods. Moving away from just using them as tools, but also, on the wrists of, obviously, if you're diving, if you're into those kinds of sports, you may be a little bit wealthy yourself. People would see that on the wrist. They kind of associate it with wealth or what have you, status. I don't know. But a period of time that happens when Rolex decides to shift the Submariner from being a pure tool watch, sports watch, to an actual luxury sports watch. And that is actually with this reference. Now, the 1680 didn't just come in the gold iteration. The 1680 came as a steel watch as well. It was the first, or the world's first version of the Submariner date. Rolex Submariner date, reference 1680. I know Clyde is probably listening. I know Clyde has a Rolex 1680. He has the white dial. You guys have heard of the red sub. That is the red sub, the 1680. That is the first iteration of the date on the Submariner, and really is iconic in the history of Rolex, where it is the moment where Rolex moves from being a tool, the Submariner moves from being a tool watch, pure tool watch, like I showed you in the previous page of the 5508, to an actual luxury watch. I mean, why the fuck do you need a date on a diver, right? Like, if you're going diving, you don't need to know what day of the week it is. And that, so whether it's in gold or it's in steel, right? The addition of the date signified really that move to luxury. Let me get back to the chat here real quick. I'll stop you guys. I'll stop the narrative right here just to say hi to everybody else who's hopped in here. We got Tommy who's joined us as well. Nice to see you, Tommy. Tobster McDonkey as well in the chat. Nice to see you, sir. Joseph D says the no crown guards looks so good. Yeah, I agree. A lot of folks are really. I know Sturdy Danny's a big fan of these non crown guards, 4-digit references of the Submariner. And I know Danny likes a 6538, which is the big crown. You can get a 6536, which is a small crown. This is a 5508. The reason I pulled this one up, Joseph D, the 5508, is because Archie used to own this watch. And this is a funny story that I always try to kind of twist the story a bit, but Archie bought this watch as a two-tone. And as you guys have just heard from me, that like there was no gold in a Submariner until the 1680, which came a lot later. So obviously Archie bought a Franken watch. So I kind of twist the story that Archie bought the 5508 and he kind of like bastardized it by making it into a two-tone. But that's why I chose this one. But yeah, it's a beautiful watch, man. Like one real interesting characteristic of these watches, Joseph D, is they are quite small. I mean, they're about 37. People say 38. I think they're 37 mil watches. So very similar to the Black Bay 54 in that sense. But I don't think anyone's going to complain about wearing 37 mils if you're wearing this kind of a vintage Rolex subby. Rolex, please. JDMTL Omega bracelet is old-fashioned time. Well, look, I understand why they do it, JDMTL. Like, they do it because it reminds you of the 90s, the Pierce Brosnan era when it first came out. They kind of kept it the same. Like, I respect that. I respect that they've kept it an evolution over a revolution, you could say, from that original model in the 90s. But I mean, that scallop bezel was shit when it first came out. They've improved it. Don't get me wrong, but it's still fucking shit. Anybody who's trying to compare that to a Submariner's, bezel action. I mean, the Submariner is head and shoulders. I even think the Tudor Black Base head and shoulders above the Seamaster in that case. Ryan Hoffrey, neo vintage Rolex and Tudor sales are going to climb noticeably in the next months. I bet on it. Yeah, I'll get into that actually in a second. In terms of neo vintage, watch Bronco. 7 subs have come and gone in 10 years. I'm only left with the Hulk now. Yeah, the Hulk's an interesting one for me. I never liked the Hulk until I actually saw it in person. I was buying my Royal Oak 15300 from a friend of mine in Montreal, and he was wearing his Hulk that day. And I guess the fate was that it was a sunny day. Watch Bronco, and when that sun hits that that kind of sunburst goldish green dial, like it is something else. Like that is one of the most spectacular green dials I've ever seen. And the Hulk is a very special watch. Look, I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of naysaying the Hulk. It's is overhyped and this and that. I think where that I love I love that 40 mil. I love the 40 mil size. I like the super case, like the maxi dial. I like all of it of that 40 mil. I never really complained about the case. I heard like a lot of complaints on Rolex forums back in the day about the proportions not being great. Look, can you not wear it with a NATO? Yeah, I guess. But I really like the proportions of that original 40. So yeah, I think the Hulk. I own one. It's a great watch, and it's a watch that I think you should hold on to, man. Whether it goes up or down, it's really a special watch, I think, in the Rolex catalog. Ken Fresno, Higgy hates crown guards. Higgy hates fun, man. What can I say? Level 1, the solid gold blue sub is a must for AC3, I believe. Yeah, 100%. Like, an era of Archie with a gold sub is some of the most comedic gold you'll ever see, right? His confidence level just really rises when he's got that gold. So I think as anybody's would, right? Like when you're wearing a hunk of gold, right? You feel like a fucking pharaoh wearing that, like, because that gold and blue was actually a very iconic combination color in ancient Egypt, right? Like if you're familiar with the death mask of the pharaoh Tutankhamun, it is gold and blue, and I mean it's 3,000 years old, something like that, right? So gold and blue is never going to go out of fashion, guys. It was in fashion fucking 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, whatever. It's going to be in fashion tomorrow. So definitely, if you're looking at a gold sub, obviously the blue's cool. Obviously, and hopefully Uzi's listening, because I know Uzi is trying to get the gold sub in black with the black dial. Also really cool. I told Uzi when he gets that sub, when he unboxes it on the Archie channel, he needs to play that track black and yellow, as he walks in, waving that gold sub in the air, really trolling AC3. Yeah, it does look like a Tudor. I don't know if it looks like the Tudor 50. Yeah, probably a Tudor 58 on that one. Maybe not the 54, but a 58. Alrighty. Hulk has never been overrated, always underrated. I mean, it definitely skyrocketed in price and has really come down, I think, Aussie Expat. I remember a time when it was underrated. I mean, I bought mine for, I think, like $8,000 back in like 2015 or something like that. It was pretty dirt cheap. And I kind of bought it as a novelty, Aussie Expat. Like, you know, I'd seen it on my friend's wrist. I was like, yeah, it looks really cool. But that's in the sunlight, right? I didn't know how it was going to look in low light and everything else. But I was like, you know, I'll take a chance on it. And I really did like it. It was a watch that I decided to keep, you know, for, I mean, it's what, 10 years now, I guess you could say. And yeah, it's still a very, very nice piece. And look, there's a lot of haters of the Hulk, just because it's kind of beaten to death in terms of like being the hype model. But look, Submariners and black dials are very common. And you know, to get a green dial is a bit uncommon. So why not? Why not fill your boots? Yes, Caliber Y QG. We are doing watch talk. The bonus round is watch talk because Archie never does watch talk. I try to encourage him to do some watch talk. But his idea of watch talk is just breguet talk. And to me, that's loser talk. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do some Rolex. Let's talk about why the gold sub is so important, right? Like, as I mentioned, the 1680. This is the first iteration of the gold sub here. I'm going to show you guys a couple more photos as I scroll down here. 1680, just a beautiful, beautiful piece. And hopefully if Doc BBW is listening, because I believe these are the ones that actually fade. The dial fades to purple. And I think Doc BBW has a purple dial himself. Correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, if you're listening. But I believe he does. You can kind of see that purple tinge here on the dial. And this is one of the reasons I've been kind of asking Archie, like, why don't you consider a pre-ceramic? And look, I know he's not doing it because all of you fuckers in the chat just bully him anyways to buy whatever's the latest and greatest. But to me, these pre-ceramics, you know, you really do get a different era of Rolex. You do see variations. You see aging on the watch. And look, yellow gold actually looks beautiful as it ages. Unlike steel, where it actually looks worse with the scratches and whatnot, I would say, look, the gold patina is in a very different way. And I think there's something endearing about these kind of watches that have been worn in gold. And seeing this kind of dial like fade from a blue to a purple is really, really, really cool. So I've been trying to nudge Archie in the pre-ceramic way. Like, you guys have seen me ask him, hey, why don't you get the 16618 LN or LB, whichever one, which is the version before the 40 mil ceramic. And Archie's like, nah, I kind of want the 40 mil, right? It's like, look, I understand why you want the 40 mil, but why not? You know, Archie used to tout this whole pre-ceramic is better value, better fit. And I'll argue that the fit in pre-ceramic Rolex is a better fit than the ceramic versions. I don't say I definitely like the ceramic versions. I have many of them, but I think there's something special about pre-ceramic. Being able to put it on a NATO and have it look nice. Be able to use another strap besides the fucking bracelet, right? Like, the only thing you can really use on a ceramic sub these days is like a rubber B or an Everest. Like, not really my cup of tea. I want to fike around a bit with those NATOs. Aussie Expat, it's better than a Pepsi. Never classy me than a Pepsi for but the moment. I would say it's a bit of a different experience for me, Aussie Expat. When as I said earlier on the show, when I put that Pepsi on for the first time when it got released, like it was something different to me. It was a very perfect watch. I think the Hulk can be polarizing. Green's not. Green's a very polarizing color. You know, red and blue are not as polarizing, you could say. So I think that for the general public, the Pepsi will probably be the the go-to watch. I know Bear Clooney, if you ask him if you could only have one Rolex, which would it be? He would say Pepsi. I would probably say Pepsi as well. Archie may say Explorer 2 or Submariner. Kind of different for everybody. I think the Hulk is one of the cooler Submariners that are out there, but it's not the coolest Submariner of all time, in my opinion. Nipple dials feel special. Yeah, I didn't obviously bring up the fact that it's also a nipple dial, Hippo Lord, that I have up here. But again, right, that's kind of why I was leaning Archie towards considering. I'm not saying you have to buy it, but consider looking outside of just the modern stuff. I was kind of nudging him yesterday on Tropical Watch and going to vintage. And look, Archie he's like, he's a little worried about vintage and this and that. But like his arguments of being worried about vintage don't even make sense, Hippo Lord. Like his Breguet is 100 meters water resistance. He's got it on a fucking NATO. And I'm like, yo, like you're at your dad's house. Why don't you go take it in the pool? That'd be a cool video. And he's fucking scared shitless to do it. So when you tell him, well, why don't you get a vintage Rolex? He's like, well, it's not waterproof. It's not water resistant. I'm worried about the water. Listen, motherfucker, you don't even go to the water anyways. It's not like Archie takes any of his watches into the water. So a lot of his arguments really are moot, in my opinion, there, Hippo Lord. Ken Fresno says a pre-ceramic is an experience for once in a while. And honestly, Ken Fresno, it's also the fact that I don't think he's going to be wearing this gold sub all the time. So why not wear something a bit more special? Like if you're not going to go with the 41 mil, if you're not going to go for the absolute latest and greatest, I mean, number one, plastic's not going to, he's not going to respect you. Plastic's got the 41. If you're wearing a 40, your plastic's fucking Squire. So if you're not going to go with the 41, as a modern, go with something a bit older. Have a story. As plastic, throws a couple punches your way, you have more of a story to the watch than if you just got a basic old bitch, ceramic 40, I guess. The Gangsta says, in his opinion, yellow gold sub is tacky. Yeah, I've heard this before, Gary, and yellow gold is not popular. It is in the Patek Philippe world, it's considered kind of the cheapest metal that they produce. In terms of, the gold metals, it starts at kind of the highest of the hierarchy is white gold, then rose gold, then yellow. It's just not popular today. I don't know, Gary, but what I do know about yellow gold is whether it falls in and out of fashion, it will always come back. Like, I mean, it has been around for thousands of years, and it's going to be around. Like, this is one combination or color hue that I think is just not going away. So look, it may not be for you, Gary. It may not be for everybody. Uzi's looking at the black dial version. I like the black dial as well. I don't think you can really go wrong with that. But yeah. Jimmy agreed. I prefer the old school look of pre-ceramic. Yeah, just try to be different, man. Like, why do you have to be like everybody else? I really don't get it. Why does everybody have to circle jerk themselves and buy like the same watches? Like, doesn't life get a bit boring for you guys? Like when you're doing that? I don't know. That's the way I see it. We got my boy Biggie Sal or no Biggie Sal in the chat. $10. Thanks so much, Big Sal. Tan, my man. Thoughts on current white gold sub? Would this make a great daily office environment? I like the stealth wealth factor, low 30K USD, a good deal. I think Biggie Sal's talking about the Cookie Monster. So let me pull up a Cookie Monster for us. Rolex Cookie Monster. And by the way, Biggie Sal, Bear Clooney Watch has actually invented that nickname for the Rolex Submariner in white gold, the Cookie Monster. I think the Blueberry was floating around as one of the options to call it back in the day, and Bear actually came out with the Cookie Monster. It's a commonly known fact, but it's a cool fact indeed. So thoughts on the current white gold sub? Will this make a great daily for office environments? I like the stealth wealth factor, low 30K US. Yeah, you know what? Of all of them, Biggie Sal, I think this is, if you want a white gold sub, if you want to be a bit under the radar, you like the heft of the gold. Yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with this watch. It's just, there's a reason it's not sought after. It looks like a steel Rolex. And people that buy these want to show off that they're wearing a gold, solid gold dancer. I mean, they've got fucking channels dedicated to showing off that they got solid gold dancers, right, Biggie Sal? So it's that's why it's in the low 30s. I think I was looking at these myself. So I think it is a great watch, great office watch. And yeah, like if you love the heft of the gold, man, this is a good choice. Obviously other alternatives of white gold, you got the Meteorite Pepsi if you wanted a GMT. Also another obviously under the radar-ish gold watch, but you can go with the non-meteorite GMT as another gold alternative, white gold with the Pepsi configuration. Also cool. A couple different ones, but if you want a subby, this one or the Smurf. Smurf may be a little bit. It may be it may just stand out a little bit with that shade of or the hue of blue that's on the Smurf. But look, the Smurf's a pretty cool watch in and of itself, Biggie Sal. Something that Marcelo taught me, actually, ironically, is that the Smurf was the first, kind of called the first appearance of the glide lock. The glide lock clasp that all of us really enjoy on our Rolexes. The Smurf has a bit of historic value in that it is the watch where the glide lock was first introduced. So pretty cool. But yeah, look, nothing against the Cookie Monster. I like this watch. I think you should do it, Biggie Sal. Get it for the right price. And yeah, I think you got a winner. No Biggie Sal, get it bought. Yes, sir, Gary. Yes, sir. We got Aussie Expat. 40 is better than the 41. 40 is bolder, and that suits the Gold and Hulk. Yeah, you know what? I've always liked the dimensions of the 40 versus the 41. I'm not the biggest fan of the clasp on the 41 being chunkier. I mean, Aussie Expat, I'm wearing my Explorer 40 right now, and it's also got a bit of a chunky clasp. I would have liked it to have a little bit more of a smaller clasp on it. It's a bit more elegant, I think, on the 40. But again, right, you got the battle of the latest, and this is kind of where Archie is clearly being influenced. He's clearly being bullied by plastic to go into the gold sub. But if you want to be in the club, like, you got to get the 41. If you're not going to get the 41 Arch, like, you're basically going to become Plastic Squire. And yeah, I'm just saying, get something else that has a bit more character. Ken Fresno, once a pre-ceramic is on your wrist, you don't feel the clasp or hollow links. Yeah, you know what? This is a complaint that a lot of people have, but it never really bothered me. Yeah, it was the clasp a little tinny, a little dingy, sure, right? It wasn't the end of the world for me. Never had a problem on the wrist, and never had a problem using it. I mean, fuckers use these watches for, I owned a 1680 Red Sub Mark IV dial. So it was probably like 1972. So the watch was older than me. It was 50 plus years old when I had it. And yeah, I mean, it was a great watch. I'd never, it had been worn its entire life. It had been used, and it was still standing, right? And I kind of thought to myself when I was wearing that watch, I said, man, what the fuck do I own? Do I still own that's as old as this or even close? Right? Like, I mean, TVs, we don't repair TVs no more, right? You just buy a new TV when your TV busts, your TV breaks. So it really, when I hear stuff like, oh, it's not good quality or this and that, look, it's a lot of fucking bullshit, guys. Like, don't. A lot of that is just new collectors that are scared as fuck to look at vintage because they don't know shit about watches. And they really don't have an interest to learn anything about watches, right? Like, I like the whole shtick of the solid gold dancer, but that's why I said, you know what? Why don't I come on and talk a bit of history, talk a bit about, why that watch is iconic. Solid gold dancer is an iconic watch. It is, kind of that the starting point of when Rolex moved away from, having the Submariner as a tool watch and became a true luxury piece. All right, what else is going on in the chat? It's beautiful in person. The Cookie Monster Smurf is better. Yeah, I don't mind either one. I think if Big Sal's trying to be under the radar, the Cookie Monster may be a bit of a better bet. Own Yellow Gold, Daytona, and Steel Pepsi already. Have a Void with no sub. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you want to hop on Aussie Expat, everyone's welcome. We're just chilling here. There you go, Doc BB. I knew you'd be listening. Pre-ceramics where it's at. Yeah, man. Like, I got a little bit of a purple sub here, Doc. I was like, man, I could remember that Doc had a purple sub. And yeah, I'm trying to push Archie into being like, hey man, like, why don't you go with something a bit off the beaten path? You're Archie Luxury. You don't just buy what's mainstream. Buy what's off the beaten path. Yo, there's Stiefel. We got all the OGs showing up today. I actually picked up a Cermet from the AD. Oh, congratulations, Dirk. Only about a 6. Hey man, that's still good. 6 months ain't bad, Dirk. 6 months ain't bad. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you still have your Patek Philippe. Hopefully you've dropped all of those Grand Seikos. I was around Craig's ship show like not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, and he was on. I think he's either buying like a gold like GMT or something. And he was on. He was talking about his 002 Stunner. So I kind of just hopped in and I'm like, hey man, do you still think your 002 Stunner is better than a Patek Philippe? And obviously he knew it was joking and stuff like that. But he said that many times, Der Stiefel, like how he thinks that Grand Seikos are better. finished than Patek Philippe's. I'm like, man, that guy does not know shit about watches if he thinks that a fucking Grand Seiko is better finished than a Patek Philippe. Some maybe, like, and I'm talking like a few models, like really, and you're talking 50, 60,000 euros type models, not your regular run-of-the-mill fucking snowflake. So, just saying. All right. Discount tells us, let's dance. Put on your dancing shoes. We got Hans, knees and toes in the chat. Put on red shoes and dance away. Dance, dance, dance. 6 months isn't bad at all. Still got both Pateks. I find that. Look, man, you were Der Stiefel, you were lost for a while, bro. Like you had given up on the Pontiff, and you had gone for the false prophet, and Craig shipped to like I don't know what he was doing, man. He sent you to like fucking these random GS events, and I was like, man, what is Der Stiefel doing? Der Stiefel is a Rolex, man. What is he doing? But I'm happy to have you back, Der. I don't know if you've seen Archie's new unboxing that he did, but I'm gonna play it for you because I have a video of it right here. It's a real quick clip for you, Der Stiefel. Archie unboxed this Seiko the other day. I'm gonna show you what happened.
Bezels, bezels.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Fuck!
Oh,
Whoa.
I always like those live fuck ups. So Archie, for you to understand kind of what happened, Archie had bought that Seiko, and he needed to add links in, and I don't know what happened, but it fucking snaps right when he puts it on the wrist, and it happened live, like this happened live on air. That's how I screenshotted the clip, and Archie didn't want to play it, and then I uploaded it into the StreamYard. So that's what I told Plastic. I said, look, Plastic, if you got videos for me to play, send them to me on MP4 format in WhatsApp, and I will upload them in. But yeah, guys, back to the gold subby. So yeah, for me, it really is that stepping stone of Rolex, that point in time where the Submariner moves from being a tool watch to a luxury watch. And you know, the 1680s, like I mentioned, are not just the gold sub. There's also the red sub. I'll pull up a 1680 red sub. Maybe I'll pull up a Mark IV. Like I used to have red sub. And Clyde has a later version that is called the white dial sub or the white sub. So here we go. I'm going to go on HQ Milton's site here. So same, interesting enough, this one, they kind of fucked with the Cyclops here, but this is the 1680 red sub. So the same model as the original OG solid gold Dancer, just in the stainless steel version. This one has obviously not the original crystal because there is no Cyclops, but there would be a Cyclops at the 9. They're open 9, which is really cool to see. You know, obviously everybody knows this as the iconic red sub, but very few people know how pivotal this watch is because, you know, we all kind of take the sub date for granted. It's kind of the, you know, run-of-the-mill vanilla sub, but at this time, you know, and prior to this time, there were no Submariner dates. For a decade, it was just the Submariner, which we colloquially call these days the Submariner no date. And yeah, it's just a why are you Aaron B?
I don't use my real name.
What's going on, Ozzy? Tell me about the Hulk, man. Tell me about how much you love the Hulk and how much, you know, everybody else is wrong here on the. There we go. I'm gonna put you full screen, Ozzy. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think, quite frankly, the Submariner is very obviously the sports watch that really, you know, it's the sports watch. Rolex would still be Rolex without any sports watches, but, you know, the Submariner is like hugely important. The most important line in their product lineup.
Yeah, it is, and it has been for quite some time. It's where, you know, today, if you're just a new collector, and everybody kind of says if you're going to buy a Submariner, get the date, right? It's been a bit of a fad in more recent times that the no date or the Submariner has become popular, but it wasn't always that way. And I think a lot of folks don't know that it just wasn't always this way. Rolex did not always have a date, and that the addition of the date was the pivotal moment of them moving from a tool watch to becoming a luxury watch. Even though, Ozzy, I went to their website today and they still market it as a tool watch, interestingly enough.
You mean like professional line? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like straight up on their website, it's marketed as like a tool watch. It's like the I think if I can find it here on their website. I was looking at it earlier and it was like, I was like, really? Like they're still marketing this watch as a tool watch? But they do. They do. It's here, let me see if I can find it for you. All right, here we go. a model to a watch. This is off their website. Like they still now. It's good that they showed this the Submariner, not the Submariner date on that. In that kind of stick to my narrative here of this being.
I feel attacked. I don't have a no date Submariner.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even showing this on the screen here. Hold on. So on the Rolex website, a model tool watch, right? So they still market it that way. Look, it's. Have you ever had a
no date?
Yeah.
No, I should have. So when I got my black sub, I didn't know if I would ever get another Rolex in my life. I felt that for that reason, I wanted the black sub date, to live with day to day. Retrospectively, in a collection, I ended up buying the Hulk as well. It would have been a better choice to have gotten the no date. But hey, I'll wait for Series 13 to get the no date, I'm guessing.
Yeah, look, the no date's one that you don't even have to pick up in a modern iteration. There's a lot of vintage ones like the 5513. Great, and that lineup was around for something like 20 years. It was like from the 60s to like the 80s before we got into the 14060, and then later on the 14060M. The 2-line version of the 14060. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options for no date. I'm just trying to open Archie's perspectives here because to me it's a bit vanilla to kind of just get just a ceramic no date. It's a bit vanilla, right? Like, why not get something more special? Why not get something that you're not going to see wearing?
Is he seriously entertaining a ceramic no date?
No, he's entertaining the gold sub 40 mil ceramic,
right?
And I was like, look, why don't you look at pre-ceramic, right? You could save probably 10 grand. Have a watch that is going to maybe age a certain way and have a bit of character, right? Like, because he's Archie, he's not plastic, and even if he gets the 40 Aussie, like plastic's just going to troll him because he didn't get the 41.
He should just own that the 40 is a better watch in gold and the Hulk.
I'm gonna ask you to comment on this one from Dursty. This is getting a bit of a hot take here, Dur. He says, I'll tell you what, the Tudor No Date Black Bay on the Jubilee with a T-Fit clasp that they released about a year ago is a killer beater. It's basically a Tudor sub. What do you think of the T-Fit? Would you call it like a Tudor sub? I don't know, man. It's
T-Fit in a few ways is better than Glide Lock. Number one, it's overall a smaller package as a clasp. It has every bit of the adjustment, and the adjustments are actually a little bit easier. The only real knock is that you might not like how it's made, is the only thing that I can see. And I've seen someone say, oh, you look at the back of it, it looks so rudimentary in terms of its machining compared to the Rolex, if it's square edges and stuff like that. But no, in terms of the outcome, there's no real issue. Like T-Fit is every bit of a match for Glide Lock. Sorry, I'm experimenting with a DJI stabilizer here.
All good, man.
And,
it's your thing. It's your thing.
I'm just preparing for Geneva. I'm so excited. I can't wait to do some Gonzo streams. I want the quality to be good for people. I'm going to test it out on these streams until then.
Yeah, hey, we can be your guinea pig on the Archie Luxury live stream. Yeah, man, I think Geneva's going to be great. I'm not super excited about the watches necessarily. More about, whenever I go to these events, it's all about the socialization, the people, right? The socializing, all that stuff. So, for me, I'm not. I look, whatever they release. It's not going to blow my mind. You go in with that expectation, you may be blown away. Who knows, right? But I'm excited to go to the Patek Philippe Museum. There's a lot of pieces in there that I really like, and some of them are very, very, very rare piece uniques and stuff. So we got Thomas Burnett in the chat, a guy who I have a bone to pick with. Thomas did his show on two-tone watches, and I didn't catch the start of it, Thomas, so maybe I'm wrong. But they kept talking about two-tone as gold and steel, and I'm like, guys, two-tone is not just gold and steel, right? Like, two-tone has many different iterations. You've got tantalum and steel. You've got platinum and steel. There's many different versions of two-tone. So I thought it was a bit, I don't know, Tom, I missed the start of it. So I don't know if you guys only did gold and steel, but if you did, you guys have left out a big chunk of two-tone watches. We got Mike the Snake Royalty in the chat. I'd love to get a white gold sub. Just need to work on the 30 grand part. Love. Yeah, man, 30 G's.
30 grand, yeah.
Ozzy, would you be dropping that 30 grand for a white gold sub? What do you think?
I feel like a Smurf will enter my collection at some point. Not this year, not next year, but it just feels inevitable. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've always liked the Smurf. I had nothing against it, but I'm also from an era where, like, I mean, you buy a gold sub, you buy a gold sub, right? You buy you
Right.
want people to know you bought a gold sub, right? Like if I want to buy a gold watch that I want under the radar, I buy a Patek Philippe, white gold Patek Philippe. Nobody knows what it is. I can walk around London, no issues, and nobody's gonna give a fuck.
Yeah.
But when I'm in Aussie expat land over in Vegas, I'm by the pool. I want to be wearing a gold subby. I want people to see the gold. I want to see that sunshine, gleam off of the dial. Like I want to wear and show off that I'm wearing gold. So for me, it's all Aussie expat. It's always going to be yellow gold. I really wouldn't go white gold myself, but I understand why people do it, I guess.
I'd do it after getting a yellow gold piece, but for me, I would get totally the 40 millimeter blue Submariner. So I think I only want 40 millimeter Submariners basically. Like if I was going to get a no date, I'd pick it up in 40. If I was going to get a yellow gold, I'd get the 40. If I was going to get the white gold, I'd get the Smurf.
Yeah, my beef with
Yeah.
the 40 and the 41 was I wasn't so bothered by the case. Everybody thought the lugs were too fat. Like it never bothered me.
Mhm.
I understood what people were saying, but I thought they were just being a little OCD. And then when it went to the 41, yeah, it does are the lugs a bit nicer? Sure, right? And I agree, they are better. But then you put it on a 21 mil strap, a 21 mil bracelet. You got that bigger clasp. It changes the balance of it, I would say, not in a good way. Like I do also prefer
Yeah.
40 like that, right?
I,
I wasn't so
I, I,
bothered by it.
yeah, I find the first link coming off the 41 millimeter, just not the end link, but the first, true link,
Mhm.
it just looks really big. Like just objectively, that first link that's, the biggest of the lot because it all starts tapering immediately. It's a really big link, is how I see it. So there's a little bit of inelegance to the 41 as well, but the inelegance on the 40 is one that you can own, if you know what I mean. Like the big lugs were there on purpose. Like the big lugs were not added as a compromise to something else. Like on the 41, the way that the clasp is, the size of the bracelet once it starts off at the end link, that's all sort of coming back from their desire to try to maintain that size, try to give the lug profiles a certain shape, and then you end up with this bracelet that looks like that, which is okay, but it is sort of all the compromises are in the bracelet and the clasp. While the 40 is it's more of a quote unquote a perfect watch, as in there's nothing that I feel like they compromised. They went with a big bold look, a watch on top of a bracelet, very distinctive, as opposed to sort of blurring the lines between an integrated bracelet and what is fundamentally not an integrated bracelet watch.
All right, I got this photo here from Der Stiefel. He's saying, what did he say here? Tana sent you a pic on Facebook. Beater watch with a beater car. So is this a Porsche 944? Der Stiefel, you let me know. Porsche 944 with his old Chuda. Not sure, Der. Let me know in the chat. Look, I don't mind I was never a big fan of the Jubilee on the sub. I like it on the obviously the GMT. I like it on the Daytona too. Surprisingly, the Jubilee on the Daytona. I don't know about on the subby, right? So subby to me is oyster and oyster only. What do you think?
Yeah, I just loved a brushed bracelet for daily wear. It just there's no pretending about it. While the Jubilee is obviously it's dressed up, so I don't really feel like Submariners should be dressed up, except unless you get in full yellow gold.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen videos of Archie taking it off the gold bracelet, putting it on a strap. I'm not a big fan of like the day dates on straps. Like for me, you gotta have that president bracelet.
Mhm.
And for me, the gold watch that I would buy from Rolex is the gold sub. I probably would get it over the day date. I wouldn't mind getting a day date in platinum. I probably wouldn't get a Submariner in platinum myself. It kind of just
Mm.
gets a little too far past the point of the watch, I would say. Um,
Mm.
I can kind of live
Well,
with
what
gold.
about a gold Daytona? I mean, I made this decision recently. Like, I was like, I could do gold sub, but I'd prefer the 40.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, I could do
in the end, I said if for a current gen, if I had to buy from the AD, I'm like, I don't want the Data. I don't want another. I want another Daytona.
I'll tell you why I would do the gold Daytona, because when I look at chronographs, I don't. A chronograph's use to me is kind of stationary. It's not heavy duty use. So you see chronographs and dress watches, for example, right? Like it's a bit of a different
Yes.
complication than a diver, right? You don't see a dress watch diver. So that's why I would say that the Daytona is fine in gold or in platinum. The Day Date is fine in gold and in platinum. But the Submariner, to me, gold is kind of the limit. I don't think I would want it in platinum. I don't want it heavier. What's the point at that point, I guess?
Yeah.
I think you're just missing the plot. Maybe that's why they haven't done it. I don't know. Maybe they are going to come out with it, in a few
I think
weeks, and you're going to
it'll
see it live,
happen.
right? Like,
It'll
yeah,
happen.
yeah. I mean, look, eventually, if people want to make money, they're going to do what. I mean, they throw anything on that watch, and it's going to make money, right? So,
Mhm.
Rich Mitch, I've come to love the Oyster on my Explorer. Love. Yeah, I'm wearing the 40 right now, Rich Mitch. It's just the clasp, dude. Like the clasp is just a little, in my opinion, just a little thick for that watch. You gotta basically, even though it's a 40, it's basically like a 39 mil. You've got a kind of a larger bracelet and then this like thicker clasp. Like if they just made that clasp a little smaller, dude, I think it would have been perfect. Sorry, Ozzy, I interrupted you there.
No, it's cool. Yeah, I love the Explorer too, as well. Any like all the Rolexes that have just a brushed oyster bracelet, those are ones that you can live with day in day out. Anything with PCLs or the Jubilees, yeah, it can be a one watch, but it's always sort of not as great if you've got an active lifestyle.
Yeah, let me pull up an Explorer 2. And I'm not going to pull up any of the new ones. I'm going to pull up an older Explorer 2, just because we're on the topic of pre-ceramic, or at least I was
Mm.
trying to go on the topic of pre-ceramic here. I'm going to pull up the 16570. So this is the pre-ceramic Explorer 2. I got the Polar here. And just to answer this question, Rich Mitch, Thomas Burnett streams on the channel called The Escapement Show. It's on Saturday mornings for me, probably Saturday afternoons for you, Rich Mitch, in the UK. But check it out, The Escapement Show. It's one of the best shows I like to watch for watch YouTube, I guess you could say. I just called Tom out because I was like, hey man, two tone's not just steel and gold. Now again, I haven't seen the whole show. Maybe Tom covered non-steel and gold ones, but hey, for me, let's keep the net wide, guys. Let's keep the net wide. Der Stiefel, I have a ceramic sub date and a two-tone bluesy from the same year. Then got the ceramic Starbucks. I'm really liking the new case size. All right, man. That is all good. Ozzy, for me on the Explorer 2, I really didn't think this watch needed to go to 42 mils. I like the 42 mils. I've owned one. I think the 40 was just fine. What about you?
I think,
Obviously, yeah.
yeah, I think so I've got the 42, and look, side by side, you could own both. Get a 16570 and a new, 214270. Like, get both. They're side by side. They're not the same watch. The new one is just so much beefier. It's like it's on steroids, basically. Every aspect of it is big. This being said, I feel like to be perfect, there'd be a modern version of it in 40 millimeters. But from a catalog perspective, from a collection perspective, it's kind of nice that every now and then you don't always have a bloody 40 millimeter watch.
Well, I think that's why they did it, right? Is to
Yeah,
differentiate the catalog because, like you said, if it's just another 40 mil watch, like, well, why would I buy this over the GMT, right? Like, you differentiate it
exactly.
in the sense that the watch is slightly bigger, not too big, right? 42 is kind of that top echelon for most guys to wear pretty easily. So you're not entering into the realm of like large Rolex, which is like Sea Dweller, Deep Sea Dweller, etc. You're really at that top echelon, top end of like what is manageable, I would say. So I understand why they did it. I don't think they needed to do it. I think the 40
No.
was a pretty good watch. I don't think I've ever owned the Polar 40. I've owned the Black Dial 40, and then I've owned the Polar and the 42. Um,
Hmm.
Polar, interestingly enough, is one of the most complimented watches I've ever worn. Like a lot of people notice it. For whatever
Yes.
reason, it's just the white dial, but a lot of people notice it, and it's like literally been one of my most I don't know why, because like us watch collectors fucking hate this watch, so I don't know why it gets complimented, but
No, it's interesting. Yeah. So the Polar Explorer 2 was the first watch I commented on someone in public. So this was after I sort of half got into Rolex and studied up on the Submariner. And then I spotted a manager at a Chinese restaurant in Hong Kong with what I thought was, a Rolex. And it is. But I thought, is that some sort of Submariner I'm not aware of or something like that? And yeah, it was 16570, so no Explorer 2. And I looked it up immediately, like, that's really, really cool. It left a very big impression on me. It was the first sort of spotting of a Rolex in the wild that I took note of. And that's the thing as well that I've noticed that back then, so this is like about almost 20 years ago, the manager of any Chinese restaurant would always have a Rolex. And these days it's like, no, maybe the lady owner has like a lady date just, but
Mhm.
it's no longer standard equipment for running a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, definitely. Tooser, whatever your name is, hop on, man. Let's talk some watches. Rich Mitch says orange GMT hand is rough. So Rich Mitch, the orange GMT hand, well, not really the GMT hand, but the orange hand is iconic to the Explorer. I have on the screen the Rolex 1655, the Gen 1, the OG Rolex Explorer 2. At a time when it wasn't a GMT hand, it was a day-night indicator. This watch was made for cave dwellers, spelunking, all that kind of weird shit. That somehow Rolex thought was going to be worthy of a
Yeah,
lineup. And
they're really trying on this one, huh?
yeah, it's a cool watch in the sense that it's very unique in what it does. It's never really been replicated, you could say, in anywhere else in Rolex. But obviously, Rolex realized after the 1655 that what it's just not going to be very popular because day night indicator most people don't give a fuck about. So they end up morphing it into the GMT, which is, like me and Ozzy were talking about, can potentially cannibalize another lineup, and therefore they have to differentiate it from that lineup. And that's, having it as a complete brushed watch, no ceramic bezel, larger size, different dial color, all different ways they can actually differentiate it. But the orange GMT for me, Ozzy, is iconic because it's the OG. And I think
Mm,
on the black dial, it's a bit endearing for me because it kind of reminds me of the 1655.
yeah. Here's what I hear complaints about. I hear, like, I'm not saying these are the smartest collectors, but they say it's dumb that the bezel doesn't move.
Um,
I think
I
that's
mean,
worth thinking about. I was like,
yeah, I think if they did that, they would just further cannibalize the lineup because that's the whole point of the GMT. It has
yeah,
the tracking ability of 3 time zones versus 2, right?
yeah.
Whereas the Explorer 2 can only track 2 time zones. So again, I understand why they don't do it. I think that they're kind of at their limit because people are still confused, Ozzy, between the two. Like Archie always
Hmm.
tells the Explorer 2 because he's like, well, it's fucking cheaper, right? What's going on, Tooser?
How are you?
G'day.
We are talking Rolex wristwatches. No fucking loser talk here. No Breguet fucking talk. No loser talk. Only Rolex talk. What, Ozzy?
Actually, Tan, bring up the Rolex website for the current Explorer 2 versus the GMT Master 2 because I think the price is actually almost the same now. There used to be quite a big difference, but the price increase 2 years ago was the most brutal ever on the Explorer 2. Like it went from like low 9,000s to mid 10,000 in a single jump. Um, and I just paid for a GMT Master 2, and I think it was 11, I think, but and that's because it came on Oyster. So I think it was cheaper because it came on Oyster, but I think they're extremely close now. It'd be like the difference between a sub and a sub date.
Yeah, so mine's gonna be Canadian dollars, but take off 30%,
Yeah.
it's basically USD. So 14,100 Canadian for the GMT Master, just in a basic format. The black and gray dial, black and gray bezel.
An oyster. Yeah.
An oyster. Let's go to the Explorer. Let's find us the Explorer from Rolex watches. This site's fucking pain in my ass sometimes.
Yeah, it's not so easy to switch the model family. It's like they've each got their own sort of website effectively.
Not with that, I got to go into the Explorer family. Like it's not like I have to go into Explorer, then find Explorer.
This hides the watch for a lot of people, actually. A lot of people don't know it even exists because it's hidden behind that. And the same thing also happened to the Yachtmaster 2, where you sort of like, the only way to get to a Yachtmaster 2 was to go pick Yachtmaster and then pick the giant one. Oh, okay. Now it's the Yachtmaster 2.
Yeah, so you see
14 ones, so it's a couple thousand.
Couple thousand.
1.5.
Yeah, like
something like that.
I think that like this at retail, it's not much of a deal. Like I'd probably go GMT. But we do have the man on the screen who's going to tell us which watch we should buy. Archie, we got a big dilemma here. GMT Master
Archie.
2 versus Explorer 2. Bang per buck. Which is the watches? Bang per buck. Explorer 2 or GMT Master 2?
Explorer 2.
Explorer 2, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Explorer 2. No brainer.
Archie,
You're buying it retail or from the AD?
I told a story earlier, and everybody's shocked that you would butcher such a beautiful watch, that you would butcher such a beautiful Submariner by converting it into a two-tone, right? The watch I have on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why did you buy this watch as a two-tone? This watch never came out as a two-tone.
I bought it for 2,000 Australian dollars.
And how much did you flip it
5508.
How much did you flip it for?
I sold it that day for 4. I doubled my money.
There you go.
This is 30 years ago. 25 years ago. 26 years ago.
We are talking, Archie. We are talking all kinds of Rolex. I told everybody, guys, there's no loser talk here today. We're not talking fucking bregues. We're talking fucking Rolex, motherfucker. Rolex. Archie, 16.55.
Come on.
Fuck his feelings, man. 16.55, Archie. Rolex GMT for the Spelunker, the Cave Dweller. What the hell was Rolex thinking coming out with this watch?
I love this watch. The Steve McQueen.
Why do they call it the Steve McQueen? He never wore this watch.
Yeah, you know the only person who's cooler than Steve McQueen?
Tell me.
Bondage.
Okay.
All right.
Bondage is cooler than Steve McQueen.
I thought you were going to say like Bob Hawk or something, but all right.
No. Bondage is so cool, man. The guy is so cool. I got to tell you seriously, man.
Can you tell me about the 16.55? Tell me about this watch.
Look, this is came out 1972.
You know how he knows that, Toaster, by the way? That's because that's his birth year. That's how he fucking knows that. He knows every watch that came out in his birth year between this watch and the Royal Oak.
He still keeps the 72 email, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Toaster? If you ever, like, whenever I go to the outlet malls in the States and they ask you for your email, I always put Archie Luxury 72. He gets all my spam, that guy.
Hey, you're a man of worth, Patel. Do you run burner phones?
Yeah, I do run burner phones.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, even this guy runs a burner phone, man. You think Archie doesn't run he has his burner for like the YouTube people, and then he's got his own personal one for the. Whenever I need to get a hold of him, I'll call him on his personal. I wouldn't call him on the YouTube one.
It's for
Archie,
the massage parlors.
Just default $2. Captain Shitter is cooler than McQueen.
There you go. All right, Archie, tell us the drum. Tell us what's going on. We got Tooser with us. We got Aussie Expat. You got your boy Patel Philippe here. Tell us the drum, Archie. Give us the monologue. What's happening today?
Hey, I got to tell you something. I'm actually getting ready. I am leaving on Saturday. I am leaving on Saturday for Hong Kong. Okay. I've got one watch. All the other watches have been put into the bank safe.
Yeah, thank God.
This is what I'm wearing to honkers.
Oh, is it honkers or is it hongers?
Honkers.
Is that waterproof?
Sorry?
Is that waterproof?
Well, the weather in Hong Kong at the moment is about 15 degrees Celsius. It's very cold. It's very pleasant.
Mhm.
And Mrs. Lai loves a breguet in rose gold. That's why all my breguets are in rose gold. She loves a breguet. I'm actually going to the breguet boutique in Central just to go there and just be a breguet man. They want the breguet men to come in. Okay. They want the breguet men to come in and just sit around on the lounge, you know, breguet men.
Are you,
So I'm taking.
are you actually
taking
going to
this-
Honkers, or are you going to go to Shenzhen as well?
I'm going to both.
Okay.
Going to both. Going
Yeah,
to
look,
both.
the Hong Kong content's good. The Shenzhen content is shit in like Mrs. Lai's son's room or whatever the fuck you're staying at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
missed
know.
the
Shenzhen
Mrs. Lai
can be a
story.
lot
I
of
missed
fun,
out.
but you got to get out there.
Yeah.
Shenzhen's a lot of fun.
I
Yeah.
follow most stories here, but I missed the Mrs. Lai story. I'm going to have to do some backtracking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, right? I got to tell you, I want the balls are sore experience. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of that in Shenzhen. Get everything you want there.
yeah, you
No,
know what's funny? You know what's funny, Ozzy? Like somebody from the crowd messaged me when Archie first went to Shenzhen. And they're like, "Yo, he's only going there because the whores are cheaper over there." Yeah, that's what they said to me. I'm like, "What? Like, I didn't know that was." the
But
case.
with the Australian dollar right now, isn't it cheap enough in Australia?
Well, Australia tonight we will shut it down a little earlier as we have to pack and do taxes. No.
Look, Bear's expecting you to do your 3 hours after I gave you a 1 hour bonus round, Archie.
Yeah, no. I'm not cutting it short. I'm not cutting it short. I am seriously.
You're
I
seriously
am
what?
so thrilled. You know what I mean?
What are you thrilled about? Tell us.
Look, what I'm thrilled about is to be a breguet man in his true environment. I want to go there. Okay.
Now, too, sir, you're new here, right? You're one of the newer guys on the panel here. So I'm gonna show you, Toaster, my favorite breguet moment from Archie here, real quick. It's only a 12-second clip.
Dazzles Beezles.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Fuck!
Oh,
Whoa.
That's how we do it on the
That's
Archie
awesome.
Luxury channel. There.
I didn't know I could. I guess I could have come on here a while ago. I'm still trying to figure it out. I
Yeah,
used
man,
to have a
everybody's
wrench. Now I don't. I don't know what the wrench means, but I guess it's good that you invited me because I didn't know that I could still go on here.
No, you're on a good track because your audio isn't completely arse backwards, so you've gotten off to a good start.
My
Yeah, you know
audio
what-
backwards.
No, it's all right. It's coming through.
No,
the
it's good. It's fine. Yeah.
The reason about the wrench is because you started watching the show on Archie Luxury channel, the main channel, the one where he does his videos, and
Oh.
there's 100 other viewers that watch on the live stream channel. So obviously you're probably subbed to both, but sometimes whatever one comes up first in your feed is what you click. We stream on both channels because on the main channel it's a different crowd. It's not everybody who watches the live streams every day. So those that get introduced to the live streams from the main channel have started coming, like Roy and other folks that have really joined us from that group. So that's why the wrench is a bit different there for you too, sir. But we can
Because
fix you up
they're
on
different
both.
channels.
They're
Okay,
different channels. Yeah.
good. But thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me. I
Ah,
love
you're-
this guy. Discount. He says dances with flippers. Is that watch flippers or is it Flipper the dolphin? I want to know which it is. Discount. This guy over here. He's got jokes.
Now, Discount's been a thorn in Archie's ass for about 10 years now. You can see Discount in his... Dude, sir, if you ever go to any of Archie's videos, Discount is always in the comments. Like, he's always there.
Oh my god.
Tan the man, I got to tell you something. I was having a Patek moment yesterday with Keslovitz.
Oh, you were
Okay.
feeling like not a loser for once? Yeah, okay, great, man.
Now, what I want to say to you is I will never, ever, ever sell my world time, okay? Please rest assured. I want to tell you the gold truth. What I want to do is, Tan, I got to be honest with you. I've got a few little financial problems. Mainly, I put Geneva on my MasterCard. I bought the IWC on MasterCard. I bought the Seiko on MasterCard. I really need to sell that shit. I really need to.
Did you get any
Archie,
buyers
what's
from
the story?
Russia?
What is the story, Archie, behind that Seiko? That's another thing I missed.
The
Why did you
Seiko,
buy
look,
that?
it's
Yeah, why'd you
just
buy
a
that, John?
beautiful Seiko.
It just
And yet
seems
you- and yet-
uncharacteristic.
Sorry.
It's uncharacteristic. It's like you buying a Hublot. I wouldn't expect it.
I wanna ask you something. Is this an appropriate? Is this appropriate to give as a Valentine's gift?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. You opened
To
that
you
book up
or
that
from
evening,
you?
man.
I just wanted to
You
ask.
have to. You need some post-its, Arch. So you have to make sure you highlight the parts to be excited about.
I'm giving the Paddington Bears. I give the bears away. Do you like the bears?
Those are great. You could get your own plushes, you know. I want to get that mug that you're selling there. I give you juice. I really want one of those things. In fact, I wasn't aware that you had a store. Actually, I had to kind of look for it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
about it.
we really we have some amazing shit there. Don't worry about that.
You got a question in the chat from John Galt here, Archie, if you could read it for us.
We got a question from John Gold. Is that Mark Goldberg's new book?
And we got a super chat from Jeremy Kearney.
Here we go, Jeremy. Tan, thoughts on the SBGN 247 better than a Black Bay Pro?
SBGN 247 Seiko. I mean SBG.
Black Bay Pro's hard to beat. Well, let's see.
Yeah, it's. I think you meant GM. SBGM. Is it GM or GN? SBG. I only can find M, which I think is the GMT he's talking about.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
As in, I'd expect a GMT to be compared to the Pro. For
Archie, I was
anyone
looking at a
not,
watch. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
I wanted to ask you that. Would you be offended if I gave that to you as a Valentine's present? Complete guide to sexual fulfillment. I gave it to my wife a couple years ago and I'm re-gifting it. She's never used it. What do you think? Ooh, it's got some really nice.
I think it's a very thoughtful gift.
Ooh, they talk about cross-dressing in here.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
Also, it's
fuck.
not a Kama Sutra. It's sort of like
It's actually
hugely
photo-
expansive 50
photo
pages.
of positions.
What chapter is that? What chapter is that under? Which section there?
I don't
The
know.
cross-dressing.
Yeah, anyhow, who knows?
We do need to look at this Seiko, though. The punter has provided a super chat.
SBGN 247, sir!
All right, he's
Reporting for duty.
He's asking if this is better than Black Bay Pro, Archie. What do you think?
Look, it's automatic. I love the green dial. You know what? I would pull the trigger. Is it better? The problem with the Black Bay Pro is that Tudor is on the stink. Tudor is on the stink. It stinks. It stinks.
But what if you got the Pro secondhand?
You know what? Tudor just tries too hard. I think the Seiko is really cooler. Okay.
And
My issue is this is clearly a rip-off of an Explorer 2. While, yes, the Black Bay Pro is an homage of an Explorer 2, it's from the same company.
Look,
it's a heritage model, not an homage.
I got to be totally honest with you. I think the Seiko is cooler out of those two.
Archie,
I'm gonna go with
ask you.
I'm gonna go with the Black Bay Pro because Jeremy asked me. Jeremy, I like the Black Bay Pro. I'm not a huge fan of Grand Seiko at the low end. It's just not for me. And I kind of agree with Ozzy Expat. It's a design that's not really of the brand. Go ahead, too.
Well, it's at the front of my mind. I saw a Nautilus, but is it pronounced not a Nautilus? Actually, it was a Polo, and it's a Polo made by. Is it Piguet or Piaget? How do you pronounce this?
Piaget.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, too. So the problem is Archie used to fuck it up and call it Audemars Piaget for a while, and he always likes to forget that part of history. But I'm here to bring it up.
Piguet.
Yeah, see,
Piguet. Yeah, I'll go with Piguet.
Piguet. Yeah, so it's the Piaget Polo and the Audemars Piguet. Archie, you got a 10-pound super chat from Muhammad Ali here.
Muhammad Ali, looking forward to seeing you in Geneva. What watches will you tan? An Aussie expat. By the way, are we taking Higgy to BMW?
I mean, I don't think Higgy's talking to you, so I don't know how that's possible.
So what watch will you wear, Arch? What's the
what are you
you
wearing
thought
here,
about it?
World time. Tan will disown me if I don't wear it once.
Look,
Mhm.
Ozzy, I wore the world time to fucking London, and Archie was being a fucking pussy bitch.
I wore the Breguet.
Yeah, he thought
A
he was
gold
gonna,
Breguet.
he thought he was gonna get robbed. Meanwhile, I was staying in central London, and I wore mine without any issues. While I screamed at Tim Wright in the middle of the night on the street in one of those live streams, as you guys saw in the dungeon, I'm going to be wearing the world time as well. Ozzy Expat, what are you going to be wearing to watch the numbers?
I'm having a trip to some rural location in Romania first. For that trip, I would prefer the Explorer
Are you
2.
taking your wife?
No, not on this one.
They have some very good
and-
escorts in Romania. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, that's good. Well, in the rural areas, I hope they clean up a little better. And then for Geneva, I'd prefer the Pepsi on Oyster. But since I don't like traveling with more than the watch on my wrist, it's going to be Pepsi all the way, I think. They might discontinue it. And it's my newest watch, so, you know.
Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, that Pepsi came out, when was it, 2016, 2017? Something like that?
Something like that. But
Yeah, so,
but
I mean,
also like the actual just overall profile of the GMT Master 2, it's been a long time.
what's going on, Doc? We catfished you on with the pre-ceramic and 4-digit talk.
You know you did that on purpose.
Archie, let me show you the watch that catfish Doc on the stream right here on the screen, Archie. What do you think? 1680 gold, solid gold dance.
Nipple.
1680. Not only nipple, look at the dial. Why do you think Doc likes this watch?
That's
Purple.
Purple, baby.
It beats my two-tone purple for sure.
Yeah, I was like,
Definitely
does
does.
Doc have a two-tone or did he have a gold? I couldn't remember, man. I knew you had a purple sub. I just didn't
I've
remember
got the
which one
purple
you had.
two-tone. Got it off of the
Purple
Rancher.
two-tone.
The Rancher.
Rancher.
Yeah, the Rancher. He didn't want it. Now he's looking for one. But I also got catfished on because you left out in the discussion. If I could have the watch I want, it would be similar to what I have here, but with a two-tone rivet bracelet, which is really hard to find.
I'm
sorry, not a two-tone. I mean a polished center link rivet bracelet in gold. It's hard to find. Just like the purple one has, you know? It looks just like that.
Archie, you got a super chat here from Thomas Burnett.
Super chat. Thomas Burnett, £5. AC3. You need to get some exclusive Arch at Watch and Wonders 2025 business cards printed up to hand out in Geneva. Get on the case. The punters will want them.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. They're going to want
Is there
it.
something more modern than a business card? Is that still the way to go, Tan? You're a wheeler dealer, aren't you?
Ooh, you know what? I don't mind when Archie gives me business. Every time I meet him or he sends me something, he stuffs in like 100 business cards, which I actually end up giving to like other people I meet in the Archieverse. So I don't mind them. I think it's a cool memento. So yeah, I can see where Tom's.
That's true, a memento. Yeah,
And he's
I've
got a
got
case
Archie's
of them.
business card.
He's got a bunch of them. He's got a case of them. You might as well use them.
Now, Kelso, Archie's not going to go that fancy, right? Custom microfibers, nah. You know, Archie's like, his best he'll do is probably a gas station card for your birthday, where he'll doodle a bunch of stuff while he was ignoring the stream, right? So, talk to me, Archie. What's up?
I posted one to Angelic the other day.
Nice, man. We like Angelic. Angelic's great.
It could go even embossed. He might get an embossed card one of these days.
Archie, gold sub, man. We were talking all day about gold sub. You know, Archie, you want to get the 40 mil, and I was kind of telling the crowd, I said, you know, Plastic's not going to be impressed by that. He's a 41 mil owner. So by you buying the 40, he's going to look at you as his squire. So why not go pre-ceramic? Why not go something with an actual story than something that's just going to be modern and Plastic's just going to look down on you?
And by the way,
I don't buy watches dependent on plastic, okay? My watches are nothing. I hate the guy, okay?
Well, look, I think you don't understand that the past month, you know, from the start of hooking you in with the fatty, you know, flies high, balls of source song to now the full iteration of the propaganda campaign that Plastic's been on has been to get the gold sub into your mind to the point that you were going to buy one. So it's mission accomplished on Plastic's side. He's just disappointed you're not going with the 41 mil like a real baller would.
I like the gold writing on the dial. I like the
40
maxi
setup.
case. I like what I like better is also the clasp isn't as big. I think it's absolutely perfect, the 40 mil one. Oh, we've got
Yes,
Undertaker.
Super chat, Undertaker.
And also we've got beggars can't be choosers. I can't be so picky when I am choosing a
Yeah, but you can save 10 grand and go pre-ceramic.
yeah, they're a bit
Take
flimsy.
that 10 grand and buy a reversal. Like why?
They're
Why-
flimsy.
Mm.
I
It
really, I
wasn't
tell you
flimsy
honestly,
when you had it before. When you had
Yeah,
the gold
like,
stuff before, it wasn't
It didn't
flimsy.
fall apart. Exactly. It didn't fall off
It
the
was
wrist. What are you talking
perfect.
about?
You said every time it was perfect.
Where's ABC? ABC, if you're listening, hop on. We need someone to fucking convince Archie on pre-ceramic here. We got the super chat from Undertaker, Archie. You got to read this.
we got the Undertaker, $3, solid gold dancer, great panel. Let me say something to you, Tan. I really got to get some bucks in because I spent so much money, Tan. Nothing will save. Nothing will save. I got to be careful. I can't just keep spending money. Economy's down. Did you know Mr. GMT wants to sell his LV box off?
Yeah, I heard that yesterday on the show. You were telling him to sell his Audi TT before he sells his box, right? Like, wow.
I know.
Archie, were you really?
I think
Were
that's
you
a little
really considering?
extreme.
Archie, were you really considering like doing the Japan thing, like going and getting one of those free houses until you realized that it was in the middle of nowhere? Or
Yes,
that
I was.
something that you were?
I went there. Yeah. The houses. Japan's a very interesting country. They got a shrinking population.
Right.
They got amazing.
We should all
tourist
want a
spots.
shrinking population.
So what would
But that-
prevent you, Archie? Is it a little too out there? It's a little too out in the middle of
Well,
pretty much civilization.
even the
right?
places in the countryside that aren't. If you're on a train line, there's still several $100,000, and I can't get a loan for it because I don't have a job in Japan. So they're not going to lend money to a Jiajing. They're not going to lend money to a Jiajing. And who are you going to sell it to? Because the population is shrinking. They really don't buy secondhand houses. They'll buy a block and tear it down. Like that's how they look at house ownership in that. But I tell you something, I really do feel for me the best thing I can do is look at some cheap. I actually thinking about becoming a hobosexual like O'Sheen.
Archie, you need a gaijin chaser over there. You know, the ones that like the white man. You know.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's the market's and $5 AP question: is it worth to trade a 15300 ST Blue to a 15202 ST Blue? No, I'd actually prefer the 15300.
Nah, that's shit fucking advice. Definitely do that. You're talking about the jumbo, the 15202 with the AP movement.
Yeah, go into a jumbo.
Yeah, trading from the stack. Look, I get the blue dial is the special version of the 300.
The problem is it has no second hand and it has no screw-in crown.
As it should. That's how the Royal Look was created, sir. So no, Archie, that's bad advice. Buy the 15202 in the blue or trade it. If you can trade it straight trade, do it all day long. You got another one here from Nelson Oliveira.
Nelson Oliveira, $20 Canadian. Archie, in your opinion, did Nicolas Cage get a haircut? Plus, shout out to Z-Man from NYC.
Yeah,
Did I get a haircut?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I was
gotta
thinking
tell you,
David Carradine at first, but you're right. Nicolas Cage, actually, all the way.
I got to tell you guys, seriously, I am going to go and I'm going to go to Hong Kong. I want to get some reggae moments. I want to also, what I really want to do is, let me tell you this, guys, I'm really getting ready for Geneva. I want to go to, I bought a 2-day pass. I got the Saturday, Sunday pass there, Tan.
Yep.
I tried to get a press pass, but they were a real bunch of cunts about it. So I just thought, fuck this.
You know, because they said you needed an invite from the brand, right? So
I know.
here's an interesting thing, though. I was thinking, like, obviously, and I know you don't ask for favors, so maybe, you know, I know there's some of the crew from the other side, on the Mosso side, watch our show. They own De Bethune, right? So it could get you an invite through De Bethune to actually go, you know, if Tim Mosso could help you out, right? So Jim Millett, if you're listening, let us know if Archie can get in through De Bethune, or if Tim can hook Archie up to get in. Because I know Aussie Expat's been trying to get in, so Aussie will sneak in with Archie. on that.
Are there ticket shortages? Are there ticket shortages?
I don't think so.
No, I don't. I doubt it. I think the brand, like, so I know someone who's also in the media space like we are, and they've had brand deals with like Zenith and whatever, and they even have scheduled appointments in the show with brands, but they won't give him a ticket.
Oh, you're joking.
We're not-
Why is that?
Yeah,
We're not talking
it's ridiculous. I'm like, what are they going to do? Escort you to the booth and then escort you back out immediately? This is craziness.
Sir, they're talking about Watches and Wonders in Switzerland that's coming up in April.
But we're not talking about press passes though in this case, right? Just tickets.
Well, we're talking about press passes right now because we're there during the press only days as well.
Okay.
Yeah. What boutiques do you want to go to, Tan?
I actually really am only looking forward to the Patek Philippe Museum.
That's it.
Yeah, like
What
it's.
about Breguet?
Yeah, I'll go with you to Breguet. I like Breguet. Yeah, there's other smaller manufacturers that I'd probably want to see. Bernard Lederer, Anderson Genève, all those that I'm sure I can get some kind of an appointment with. But yeah, no, I'm not really super hyped like that, Archie. Patek Philippe Museum. You know I'm a Patek Philippe fanboy, so that's it for me.
I am going to. We've got the tour on the 1st. Are you able to make that, Tan?
I got to confirm that. Yeah, it's just really what the wife wants to do around those earlier days and stuff. So yeah, I've been to the museum before. It's just it'd be cool for
I
me
got
to
a new
just go. And,
passport ready just to go there. Look at that.
Oh wow!
I am a dual national. There you go, dual national.
How'd you get that, Arch?
Well, in case I fuck up in one country, I want to fuck off to
No,
another.
but I mean, I don't know why. It's good, but like, how did you become a British national?
Well, I was born in Australia, so I have Australian citizenship. But my dad, his children have British passport rights.
Oh, your
but my
dad
children
was
don't.
UK. Okay, yeah.
But my children
likewise. Yeah, likewise.
I love having two passports. You know, a good passport is probably worth $100,000. What do you reckon?
I got 3 now, but
Well, what do you got?
British, Australian, and then I picked up the US last year.
The US is hard to get. That's a hard one to get. They're real nasty.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Was it worth it?
Well, my kids are American, so I kind of felt like I'm all in. The taxes are bullshit, though, you know, but we'll see.
Are they higher than Australia or cheaper?
No, so they're typically cheaper than most places in the world, except for places that I would love to go, like Switzerland and you know, parts of Southeast Asia. There are parts where it would make a big difference. But you know what? I think my earning years are probably behind me, so it probably won't matter in the end.
You've got to still file
Hey, I
tax
feel
in America,
the
though.
same way.
That's the problem.
My earning years are gone, Tan. What do you think, Tan?
yeah, I think it is. But you gotta pay attention to the chat, Archie. Dirk Diggler's saying something pretty.
Seriously, you
important.
gave regularly probably 60,000 in marketing and promotion. You should hit them up, but I know that may require work.
It's not a bad idea, Archie.
It's not a bad idea. Honestly, you might be the only person on YouTube that has even mentioned the brand's name.
Oh no,
Like-
TGV got one. They are very cool. Like, do you realize the amount of effort to make these? They've got coin edging, right?
Yeah. I think
And
I
then-
saw a bondage with
Then
that one.
between the lugs,
It's
it goes
beautiful.
the opposite way. Did you know that the coin edging between the lugs is opposite to the
Wow.
other coin edging? Did you know that?
Man, who taught
Well,
you that?
the fact that there's any finishing between the lugs is amazing, because the first time I looked between the lugs on any of my Rolexes, I was like, why is it so bare and awful?
These
It's
are
not even
welded
finished.
on lugs. You know how hard it is to do that?
Yeah.
Rolex has bracelets.
Loser talk, Archie. I got to run, man. But thank you for having me on the show. I'll be listening in, guys. for a quick transition,
Patel,
Archie.
great show you've done. Great show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad I could catfish you on. Archie, I'm going to run a quick clip and I'm going to bounce. See you guys next time.
Thank you. Thank you. What a great ad. What a great ad. And we got $100 just come in. $100. $100. Reggae talk is loser talk. Thank you.
Ah, yes.
Oh my God. I'll show it to you. I want to show you something. I actually, yesterday, I went to my safety deposit box. By the way, I want to ask your advice on something. I bought a fountain pen, but I realized it was a rollerball. Is it easy to send it back on eBay?
Oh my God.
So I went to the bank, okay?
Yeah.
That's all the stuff. I'm putting it into the bank, into the safety vault. There we go. It's all done.
Yeah.
It's in the box.
I don't know, unless it's literally not as described. It's a,
I like to weasel. I like to weasel out of stuff. You know that weasel.
yeah. Yeah.
Rollerball,
I mean,
I think
you
thought it
can
was a
try.
movie.
It's they're not going to intervene, I don't think.
Yes.
How big's your safe deposit box? I don't mean to pry. I just had to get another one.
Oh no, it's just a big long. It's not that big, but it's
Like-
very difficult to get a safety deposit
like
box.
3x3, something like that.
Yeah, it's like that. You know, like a
At the front.
Golly, that's tiny.
yeah. It just.
Yeah.
But I mean, look. I can put the watches in. That's okay. I
Yeah,
just want to.
you don't. It doesn't need to be big. I mean, yeah, I decided to up a little bit and went for a 3x10, so you could. It's like effectively a little bit bigger than this in terms of wide width, so you can put full documents in there and stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like vault space is kind of like real estate. If you can get a safety deposit box, you should get bigger than what you need because you may not have the option of trading up again.
Wow, I must be lucky. Mine is at least
Patel-
3x3x12.
Patel Philippe, can you upload vid I sent to your brands? New clip from plastic for you to run while you take a dump.
Oh,
That's
nice.
in brands. What's brand media assets?
Nice. While you take a dump, not.
I'm trying
Have
to
you ever
find
live
it.
streamed while taking a dump?
He probably sent it to your WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's probably on WhatsApp.
Where is it?
Yeah, 3x3 I think is like the smallest. It's pretty normal, but the one I've got is 3x10, and then it goes as deep as the vault is deep. So I don't. They normally don't talk about the depth, but yeah.
The depth is the important
So-
part. I mean, at least for me, to be able to put documents in easily, and I
Yeah.
think it might be 4x4, but then it's at least a foot long.
Yeah. How long it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But you're
I
right,
find
real
that it
estate-
can't be too. Yeah, it can't be too tall though, because it's kind of useless to have a tall one because then you're
Oh, yeah.
stacking things in there. So I
Oh
thought
yeah, there's
I better not.
yeah,
I
you
better
don't
not
need
get a
that.
tall
You
one.
just but the length is, at least for me, the length. I like the length because I like to be able to divide the watches up,
Mhm.
and yeah, I like the length.
I gotta
Yeah,
tell
my
you, guys,
chase closed. They closed off the vault. they gave me 60 days to clear out my safe deposit box, and I was thinking, well, I've had safe deposit boxes in other states, and I don't visit them all the time. Like, given 60 days notice to clear out a safe, or they're going to ship it off to who knows where, is a little bit rude.
They probably want to take it for themselves. That's happened a few times here at the banks in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, Chase has
Unauthorized
closed
import.
up all of their safe deposit vaults all over the country, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Which
I think the banks lose on the safe deposits, but I've been told that's that's something to get high-level people in, incentivize.
Yeah, it was a perk of Chase Private Client, and it's stupid because I've got no reason to ever set foot into that bank again. There's no vindictiveness behind it. I had a good
No,
relationship with every single person there, but I've got literally no reason to ever go in ever again.
that's why my
Physical
banker
banks
said that
disappear.
the only reason they have safe deposit boxes is to attract people to, use their bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
But
have
you're
a
right,
look at
they don't
this.
make money on it.
I just got something that Nelson Oliveira's just sent me in the private chat, and this is a Le Mans. Have a look at this. It's a Le Mans
Le Mans.
yellow unworn Rolex Le Mans Daytona 40 mil. Look at this, and it's 200.
Coming down in price.
Is that real?
Yeah.
What do you
Seems like
think?
the price has come down significally.
Yeah, the price is
Yeah,
coming
okay.
down. I'd love
has.
this watch. Be a yellow gold. Like I didn't think I'd be a yellow gold person. And when it
gotta
came out, I was like,
be honest
this is the
with you.
consolation prize to the white gold. But this is amazing. Every picture I've seen of this.
Okay, if you said to me, you can have this watch or my Breguet, but the proviso is you're not allowed to resell it. I would much rather have my Breguet than this watch.
Oh, I don't believe you. Sorry, I just don't believe it.
What don't you like about this aesthetically? So I mean, just why do you make that choice?
Oh no, the Breguet is just it's got coinet, just such a kick ass. I like the way the Breguet records minutes that have elapsed is by a center second hand.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a hillbilly double split.
I like this Le Mans because it's got a lot of throwback cues to the 4-digit.
We got Tommy, $10 for Doc. Thank you, Tommy. Look at that.
Thank you, Tommy. Oh, it's a reminder that just a few days now on Saturday we're going to be doing a JFK show on the Dungeon.
I'd love if they simply made the 100 gold and then made it a non-Le Mans watch, and then I'll buy it. I mean, aesthetically, this is just a nice watch. I honestly do not give a crap about the Le Mans tie-in.
Well, if you notice, like the subdial hands are thinner, like a vintage style, and also it's the reverse panda layout, also a throwback to the vintage style.
Yeah.
So it's really a lot of vintage cues in this watch.
Yeah, Art Deco, but just the black and white. It's always just such a nice combo, and for some reason it works on this yellow gold. As in, normally you would think you would have gold subdials, and that would be the way to go. But it's just such a nice look.
Perhaps they decided to go with the white subdials because of the white writing, because normally it would be gold writing on a vintage. So they may have gone for additional contrast.
Right, yeah, because I mean there were Paul Newman Daytonas in gold, and we call them JPS styles, and they do have gold subdials. So this is sort of vintage, but not actually. It was never any variant that looked even remotely like this.
The one I've got in my avatar is a 6.2 6.3, and it's got gold subdials there. It's got patina to it though, but they're still gold. They were never white. So but I like it. I mean, it's a nice look nevertheless. I'm not sure, in fact, maybe I like it more than gold.
As in full gold bezel?
Well, not that, but I mean, maybe
Oh,
with
the
this
subdials.
Le Mans having white subdials and white writing, white text on the
Yeah.
dial, I'm not sure I'd like it if it was all gold text and gold subdials. I'm not sure I'd like that more. I kind of like it the way they have it.
I got to
here.
tell you something. I still think the Breguet is so much cooler than this watch. Let me tell you why, okay? See, the thing is, the Breguet's center seconds. The Breguet is such a cool brand, coin edging. It's on a leather strap or a NATO. It just leaves this watch for dead. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't see the charm of this watch.
You can go with a leather Rolex strap for this if you really want it, and you still have your
Rolex
gold
doesn't
bracelet.
allow you to do that. They're a bunch of assholes.
Maybe not on Le Mans. I haven't seen it on Le Mans.
I mean, let's be honest there. That Le Mans there, right? It is a great watch. The price is crazy, but do you honestly think that is cooler? Bang per buck, okay? Bang per buck. Would you turn down one of these? Have a look at this. I want to hear Aussie Expat because he's the expert. Look at that, Aussie Expat. Is that a cool watch or not?
But I mean, I recently bought a gold Daytona. I didn't buy a Breguet, right?
Would you
So-
buy a Type 20 in gold? Be honest.
Well, I mean, my collection and what I want is what it is. I'm not telling Archie to go buy a Daytona, but
I hate to say
yeah.
you're waffling, but I just wondered if you would do that because I don't think you would.
no. For me, it's Rolex only, and I'm waffling on whether or not I would ever buy an AP. I put to rest Patek. Like I'll never buy a Patek, but yeah, I'm still waffling on an AP.
Look, I got to tell you, with an AP, man, you can get some really good bang per buck with Breguet. You want to buy a new AP? The only APs to get is Royal Oak. It's a one-horse pony. That 1159's been a disaster. Look at the Jules Audemars. You want to see a bargain? Go have a look at the Jules Audemars. Nobody wants them, and that's what's going to happen to the code 1159. You know
Tell
that?
you what, if you pull up the latest Type 20 in gold from Breguet, even though it has a date, even though it's got a date window, that's something that maybe Aussie Expat would consider.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you also have to keep in mind I don't have a date just or a day date, so I'm very preferential for genuine sports pieces. So
Look, I got to tell you, Aussie Expat, maybe we need to get you into dress watches. Okay?
I will get a 1908.
Because you have one of the coolest wives I've ever seen. She is so beautiful. And
She's
man,
lovely,
it's embarrassing
and
when
I'm
you
very
go out
lucky.
and you're not wearing a dress watch.
When
This
we
is
go
what you
out,
want
she
there.
wears her gold Daytona, and I wear my gold Daytona.
Yeah, but she really wants you to wear a Breguet. She wants you to be a Breguet man. Let's have a look. Look at these Type 20s. Look at that.
What do you think of that?
I think your watch is better, Arch.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the coin
Yeah, I do
edging?
too.
No, I mean I'm not super into this sort of there's like this meme with Steve Buscemi's trying to be a high schooler. And he's like, "Hey kids." Yeah, I know this is what that's screaming to me. It's like, "Hey, I can be cool too."
This is a
Yeah, you're right. I can be cool too. You're not wrong there. It is a bit like
this is a
that.
throwback to the original, to the
Mhm.
original from the mid 50s.
Interesting.
Which also
I
didn't have
just-
coin edging, by
I
the way.
think you'd be cooler. That's all I'm trying to say to you, okay? I think you'd be cooler, Aussie Expat, if you had a Breguet in your life.
Mhm.
I don't think coin edging on the Type 20 came until the 60s.
Good point, Doc.
If you really want a Type 20, this is the way to go, because this has all the makings of a 1950s Type 20, except for it's got a date window. But they're going to issue one without a date window in the next few years, like they always do, and it'll be gorgeous.
I got to tell you, Aussie expat, you would just, man, your life would change if you got a Breguet.
Especially if you let your
Honestly,
wife
at this
know.
point, it'd be very difficult for any new watch acquisition to change my life. Yeah,
If you came
that's
in,
right. But I'm very likely to spend more money next year on watches than last year or the year before that. So I don't know what that says.
if you walked
Have a
in
look
with
at
a
this
30
video.
grand
Let's
Breguet,
look at this video.
Solid gold dancer, shining all night. Ooh, yeah. Solid gold dancer, ooh, moving so right. Solid gold dancer, ooh, giving new life. Ooh, yeah. Solid gold dancer, flashes a smile. She stands alone, moving all alone. Solid gold dancer, and she shines like one.
There's nothing more
Archie-
tacky than to see a watch covered with condoms. I don't know about you,
Exactly,
but I
Archie.
like
You
I
can
like
easily-
nothing on. He's got all these
Yeah.
plastic
What the hell's-
coverings.
what is a watch
If-
con?
if
Oh,
you-
yeah.
You can up plastic just by getting the 40 mil and then not putting bloody saran wrap all over it.
I know, Glad
Isn't that
wrap.
what-
Glad
That's what
heat
That's what
drinking Glad
Panerai
wrap
does.
on.
Panerai comes with those hard shells, right? Is that what you mean?
No, plastic puts
It's got-
aftermarket stickers on.
it's
They're actually
aftermarket
heat-
protection, just like you put on your
like
cell phone
EPF.
screen.
Yeah, I raw dog my cell phone screen too.
But it just feels so.
Might
You
as well.
destroy
It's
it
going to crack anyway. You
doing
got to
that.
replace it.
I was wondering what that was because Panerai does. I think it comes in the box. They give you a hard plastic shell to put on the damn watch.
Well,
It's a translucent, transparent thing.
I always thought that they were selling it that way to tell you that it hasn't been scratched, it's been protected the whole time, and then when you decide to wear it, you take all that off. That's what I always.
That's what I was wondering. I'm thinking like, who wears? But I don't know. I've seen them even used with those things. I'm thinking, why the fuck would you?
Looks like some people actually either wear it with that on or buy aftermarket to put something on there. But my grandmother, she used to have plastic all over her couch.
Mm.
Yes, that's right.
It's good for the cats. It's good.
I remember someone had a Honda Civic and they still had it on the doors, that plastic.
It's also
Right.
good for when Grandpa shits himself. If he shits himself on the couch, you know.
Oh God. So there are places where such protection might be forgivable, but maybe doesn't even. What one comes to mind is like, you know, the left bolster on a car on the driver's seat that always gets torn up so quickly. That probably is forgivable to have just a little bit of protection on that left bolster of a driver's seat.
I heard
But I've
you
never
might be
seen that
buying a
done.
Porsche. You might be buying a Porsche.
No, I'm not really into cars. I like simulators. I don't know if you can see the simulator back there. I'm not really into
Simulators?
cars. Yeah.
You mean like a car simulator?
Yeah, I got a direct drive wheel there and whatnot.
So you like driving, but you don't like cars.
Exactly. And like I find America quite pointless for cars. Like the roads here are they're all dead straight, 90 degrees, turns and intersections, and the freeways are so wide that you don't really feel anything unless you're doing 280 miles per hour.
It depends on which state you're in, though. Some states are
That's why
wide
Archie's
open like
getting-
that, and
That's why Archie's getting a BMW motorcycle, right, Archie? Because it's just not really exciting anymore in a car. No
I like
response.
that though. You like driving more than you like cars.
I got to tell you,
It's always been the case. Like I've done simulators and go-karts for, I love them. But then I get into a road car, I don't really see the point. Like I'm just like, I can't literally race this.
yeah,
Sometimes
I
there's
see what you're saying.
sometimes it's about you don't even have to be driving the car. Sometimes you can just be looking at it and enjoy. Sometimes I enjoy
Yeah,
just
but
looking at the car.
my relationship is with like the driving experience. So I don't look at a car and say,
We've got a
"Oh,
super chat.
nice." To me, it's about how it's gonna drive, not how
Ponticello
it looks.
says your Breguet sucks, Le Mans. Ponticello. Ponticello says your Breguet sucks, Le Mans. Look, I got to tell you, I just think Breguet is such an amazing brand. Bang per buck. How could you not love it? Seriously.
24 hours of Le Mans. That's right.
Exactly right. It is an amazing watch. And Aussie expat, what are you buying next? What's going on in your world? What are you buying next? Did you get the Explorer 2? Yes, no, maybe. What's the go? They offered you one?
Yeah, I've had one since 2022.
Yeah.
So I've got basically every sports Rolex. So the next one is probably a platinum Daytona if they ever give it to me.
You must admit that's a crazy collection you've got, don't you think?
Yes, as I was signing up for another safe deposit box, I was like, "What the hell am I doing?"
How much are they quoting?
This is
How much are they
taking up a
quoting the
lot of
platinum?
time.
How much are they
Fella,
quoting the
my
platinum?
15202 IP Jumbo Limited. My Aussie 15202 LP Jumbo Limited, 250 pieces. Thoughts? You know what? I don't think it's that special. It looks. I actually would prefer just a standard steel one. It looks
What's an
underwhelming.
IP jumbo? What's an IP jumbo?
Limited edition
Platinum.
platinum LP
Platinum.
LP. It doesn't really do much.
Wow.
I think the problem with Fella is he's got so much look at me. It just yeah, so what? Fella,
Is that
you
it
gotta
that
get
you're showing?
you gotta
Is
get a
that the
Breguet.
piece?
Fella, you gotta get a Breguet.
It's a collector's watch. It was like, it's a great watch, fella. There's no real caveats to it. It's an ultimate in one direction, that it's a jumbo, and then it's ultimate in the other direction with
Fella,
being a platinum.
I just think it's boring, fella. I'm sorry to say this to you. It's just boring. It doesn't do anything for me.
Is the dial different from steel? Because it looks like it's the same dial.
No, I think it's different, Doc.
How is it? You think it's a different blue? Different? Maybe it's a lighter blue?
Like it's black around the edges there. Like it's a different.
Oh,
It's a terrible shot.
That's not the photography then. That's real. It almost
He's
looks like
taking it in the
patina.
direct sunlight. You want, fella, when you're taking photos, photography is the art of light. Okay, it's light manipulation. That is what photography is. You don't want to take it in the bright sunlight. You want to do it as the sun is going down. You want limited sunlight. That's what you want.
Or cloudy. Cloudy days are perfect.
But this watch doesn't look anything special with this photo. He looks like shit. It looks like complete fucking garbage, fella, to be totally truthful and honest with you there. We got a $10 super chat. Patel Philippe Aussie Archie had a chance to get into a private club in Brisbane similar to Melbourne Savages, but he refused to have a nice coffee with fella to sign up. Would you join an exclusive club there, Aussie expat?
I'm not very familiar with what you might have in mind by exclusive club. I mean, I've been in a country club before.
What did you think of it?
Club.
Is this like a
Sometimes.
social club? Is that what it is?
Sometimes business clubs also.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, like every club is different. I like the idea. In America, it's more important than anything, because in America, like honestly, to make friends, it's important
In
to
high
be
places.
well, just to be structured around something. The way you build your
Like
friend groups
golf.
is typically around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it's like golf or some activity. Like I used to have a lot of friends in Seattle that I would shoot with. So you know, a lot of my friends group were that, and then I went to a country
Did
club,
they like it? Did
and
they like the shooting or not?
the shooters are the best. They're a diverse group, but they're all super friendly. Um, yeah, the shooters are the best.
I'm looking at
Okay,
this
great.
Melbourne Savage Club. Have you read about it? It says took its name from the Savage Club of London, passions for music, art, drama, literature, and science. So this is a very generalized type of club. But
Yeah, sounds like a quite generic social club. Do they do dining in there? Is it?
looks like it might be the situation. I see a lot of liquor bottles on the website.
Hmm.
Doesn't say how much.
You know,
It says
Disney has a very exclusive club. It's
Oh,
like
I see.
Club
I've heard of
33 or
that.
something.
Yeah, I've heard of that. My brother-in-law is part of that craziness.
Walt
Really?
Disney?
That is probably the most exclusive club I have ever heard about.
Yeah.
Walt Disney.
At Disneyland, not Florida. At Disneyland, they have private dining. There's a lot of celebrities that have membership. It's very limited. Like,
I
you
think
know,
it
they're
sounds
full
like
basically.
bullshit. It sounds like complete bullshit to me. I got to be honest with
Disneyland?
you.
I think
Disneyland.
it's bullshit. I mean, it's more than $100,000 a year in dues, and I think initiation is over $500,000.
Yeah, you get access to a special area, but it's like
And you get to get on the Matterhorn without a long line. There you go.
Yeah, you get free refills. You get a box of popcorn as soon
got
as
a
you get
silver
into the gate.
P. Clan, $2. When people meet Pontiff in Geneva, what dollars they tip? Anything they like. I don't insist. Anything they want to, they give me a tip. I would love it. We've got a super chat. Patel Philippe, $5. $5. Patel Philippe, $5. AC3, pull up Tattersalls and explain to Aussies why you are not taking up fella's offer to join as his referral. Well, basically, it's just a horse. It's all Tattersalls is a jockey club. It's like a horse racing club. It used to be really exclusive, but I'll be honest with you, they seem to let anybody in these days. They're desperate for members. It was
That is
a
what you have to worry about, right? If they're going to let you in, you're like, is this really a good club? They're letting me in. It can't be that bad. It can't be that good.
Exactly. So I got to be honest with you. They got a nice building, but it's fella $2 Aussie. Prefer the 5370p or Archie's Bregster.
We've got to pull up a 5370p. Look, I don't dislike Archie's watch. It's not for me. That doesn't mean I dislike it.
Amazing bang per buck. The bang, I'm just going to call it up. So the Patek 5370.
Wow, this is a very expensive piece. Holy moly. Arch, which one would survive me wrestling both of my kids at the same time while wearing it?
Well, this is a double split. It's a double
You better
split.
wear your
okay?
Rolex.
You can see.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? Archie's Bregster that's 50,000, 500,000 Aussie. My Breguet is like a fraction. You know how pennies in the dollar.
I'm seeing on Chrono 24 like 200K. In fact, there's only one in the US. It's 200,000.
I'd rather have I'd rather have.
I can't believe this is a secondary price. This is crazy to me. I've got no idea. I mean, this isn't even any kind of calendar of any type, right? What am I missing?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you got to remember, Archie's Brigster is so cool, guys. Have a look at this. This is so cool because it's a fraction of the money. We're talking about fucking $10,000.
What's this in your-
10,000 on the pre-owned market. The bang per buck. I mean, do you guys not like bargains, or you adverse to something that's?
It's luxury, Arch. Otherwise, you'd be reviewing Seikos and some
I think a
Citizens.
nice compromise.
It's
A
still not
nice
a free
compromise
watch.
would be half
Remember
the
that.
price, 5170p, half the price.
And fella goes $2. Pull up the pic I sent Tan. So fella, you got to keep it out of the sun, man. These photos are fucking terrible because you got to have no sun. Photography is manipulation of light. That's what it is. It's light. That's what you're manipulating is light. You're manipulating light. So let's get this baby up on the screen now. Let's get her up there now. Let's get this baby on the screen now. I'm pulling it up.
Archie,
Sorry, gentlemen, I got to run. It's been
what
great.
did I do? What did I do?
There we go. Look at that. That's the double split. Well done, fella. Less sun. No sun. Sunlight is your enemy. You take it in twilight is the
cloudy.
best. You want a little bit of light. But it is an amazing watch, fella. Unfortunately,
See you, Ozzy.
Unfortunately-
What did I do to you?
hey, how are you, Ozzy? Uzi?
He had to take care of his kids.
Okay, I'm sensitive. I'm sorry. Hey, Arch, I sent you an email to get your opinion on a watch that I might buy. It's a 2022 supposed unpolished new old stock. I sent you an email, and I got an automatic email back saying I don't give free advice.
You
I
said
just feel cheap.
Okay,
I feel used by that automatic response.
you said it was
Oh,
a
I've-
2022?
Yeah, he kicked back this automated response saying I don't do free shit. Like,
It's an
I
automated
just-
response. He didn't kick it back at all. It's just automatically what comes back.
yeah.
So we're having
made
a
me
look at
feel
it.
cheap.
That's the. He's asking me if it's unpolished. Does it matter? Does it matter?
To me, it does.
Do
It's
you
my. It's
believe
one of my.
this to be unpolished? Well, I'd have to look at it, Uzi. You've sent me photos. How can
Yeah,
I
I sent
tell
you
you?
photos.
Why would you refer to it as new old stock if it's only 3 years old?
That's what they're That's what they're marketing it as.
I'm
It looks
Who are
already
you buying it through?
I'm already wondering what the hell's going on. Why do they have to say it's new old stock when it's 3 years old?
I guess it's unworn. Who knows?
They should
Look,
say
look,
unworn.
How would
True.
how?
Those
Look,
should just say
very hard to
unworn.
tell if it's unpolished or not, Uzi. How would you supposed to tell? Unless it's a
I-
bad job. If it's a very bad job, you can tell. But
But I'm suspicious. It shouldn't even have to be polished.
photos
if it's
don't
3
really.
years
You'd have
old.
to see it, man. You'd have to see it. But I don't see what the dilemma is. What's the dilemma? Can I ask you that? What is the dilemma?
I just don't want anything that's been polished. That's all. I don't like it. It gives it bad
you
luck.
better buy it
I'm
new.
superstitious.
You have to buy it new. You have to buy it new.
You have to buy it new.
If you don't want to have it polished or you don't want to risk it being polished, you have
So
to
you
buy
think
it
all
new.
these douchebags, even if it's only a year old, they take it into their shop, these flippers, and they just give it a little fucking a rub and
If someone
tug,
is flipping
Well,
it,
that's not a
someone
full
is selling
polish,
it.
then, is
yeah,
If someone's selling it, you don't know what's happened to it.
right.
And honestly, if they have to advertise it that way, there's a good chance that it's been, upgraded a little bit to make it sell.
What do you think, Arch? You seen the pics? It looks nice, right?
It looks nice enough. I mean, without having it in person, it's very hard to tell. I mean, what you're saying is occasionally they touch it up if it needs a little bit of a touch. I don't see that as being
Yeah,
as
what's
bad
the
as you
problem?
I
I'm
can't understand
superstitious.
how.
Maybe there isn't for such a new watch. Maybe it's not that much of a problem if they like
It's
touch
3
it up a
years
little bit. I
old.
guess. Huh?
I mean, unless somebody really beat it up, they shouldn't even
Right.
really need a lot of polishing. Just get rid of the scratches, mostly on the clasp, and
Okay.
there you go.
Who does that? The AD, or is
What?
it some other
Sometimes
place
the
that
AD does it. Sometimes the owner does it to sell it to the AD.
But I mean, a professional polish is not cheap, and it's a special art into itself.
That's
Uzi.
right.
the brushed finish? Yeah, it's not like Never Dull. Yeah,
I had my
I wouldn't
bracelet
be- Does it
repolished on one of my watches
I
by
really-
by
I really
my
wouldn't be
watchmaker.
too concerned, Uzi.
No, in this case. Oh, so it's not like a year 2000 date, so it doesn't matter that much in this case, huh? Is that what you're saying? Being that it's a 2022.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
saying it's
That's
a
what everyone's
pearl
saying.
watch.
Okay, so give me the watch, guy. Give me the watch, guy. That's what I'm gonna tell him. Give me that watch, guy. How about that? Should I just tell him to give it to me?
It seems
Why
fine
don't you
to
look
me.
at
I
it in
don't-
All right, I'll
person?
take
I
it.
don't
Thank
know.
you, Archie. Thanks for the free advice.
You always super chat. It seems fine, but even if it had a light polish in a spot or two, who cares?
Eh,
The only
Really?
risk, Uzi, the only risk is if the watch was beaten up and then it's fairly heavy polish to bring it back. I mean, that's always possible. Depends on
You
what
told
the
me-
owner was doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, that's one good thing about PVD. You can't do much to polish these fuckers. You got to kind of, I don't know. Maybe there's a guy in his backyard that figures out how to put a new PVD finish on, but I haven't found
I
it.
hate PVD. I hate
Yeah,
it.
so I might as well just buy a G-Shock at that point, in my opinion. But I'm new. I don't know anything.
Uzi, I love the watch, man. How could you
I
not
wanted you
be
to show
happy?
it. I wanted you to show it, but it doesn't
Can you
matter.
pull the
I don't
picture up
care.
again of this watch we're talking
It
about?
doesn't.
It is absolutely amazing. Have a look at that. It's beautiful. What's wrong with that?
So it's stainless, right?
No, it's gold.
I can't even tell. God.
You can see the yellow gold there. It's yellow.
If it's
It's
gold,
beautiful.
it's a higher chance of it being polished because of the fact it's gold.
There's
I
always
mean,
that
the watch,
case
the
where
watch in my avatar, I need to wear it more, but I don't even wear it once a month because it's gold.
I hear you.
It'll
Maybe
get
I just
scratched up. Every
Hey,
time
Doc,
I wear
maybe
it,
I'm
it gets
just
a little
big.
scratched.
Maybe I'm just big on the whole polish thing because I was looking at like vintage day dates when I first started buying watches or collecting or flipping or whatever the fuck I'm doing. Maybe I was so concerned about polishing because I was looking at like year 2000 and 1995s and stuff like that. What do you think?
Most of the wearing on the edges of these watches is from wearing. It's not from polishing. So when you're losing your crisp edge on the watch,
Yeah.
it's usually because you were wearing the watch. It's not because you polished it.
Oh, brutal horological facts from Doc.
AD never calling. How are you?
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Paul.
Hello.
How you going?
Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how you going?
Greetings and salutations from L.A., Paul.
I think Uzi had a question for you.
I'm sick of Uzi. When I started collecting, he's bought 2 fucking watches, two Rolex in his life, and they were the same 36 piece of shit. I mean, really, he's not a watch collector. He didn't
This is my
start
fourth
buying
one.
watches. Yeah, you don't. What do you mean? You don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, I know you're the
Pretty
new
much.
generation, but stop trying to make sense of like you're some sort of something or other because you are a something or other.
Hey, I talked myself down a little bit, man. I said what I was. I don't know shit, but I'm learning.
Yeah, well, don't say you know shit and pretend you know shit. If you don't know shit,
I
don't know
really
shit.
don't do that, Patrick. I really don't do that. You give me
Just
some more
don't
credit. I
know
don't really-
shit. Just be the don't know shit guy.
Actually,
Right,
Uzi,
right.
there's another component to the question. How much is this watch going to cost you, ballpark?
We are working on those details.
Well, what's the ballpark?
Fuck. 30, 34, 35 grand. No, 30.
Wow.
That's
That
a
seems
lot
like
of
you'd be able
money.
to get a new one for that.
Hey, I will be back in
Yeah.
1 minute. I'm just gonna grab a coffee. I woke up at fucking 1:30.
Doc, that's not even true. New ones from the ADs like 42K.
I'm just gonna grab a
Uzi,
coffee,
can I-
guys. I woke up
Yes,
at
go ahead.
1:30. It's
Okay,
hot.
Arch,
I
go.
didn't-
Well, who cares? Go.
I'm gonna
This
get a
is
I
our
coffee.
wondered
show.
what was
Listen.
happening there, Paul.
I'll get a
I thought he would
coffee,
pull these
okay?
up. I thought he would pull these picks up on the screen or something. He just like, here's my phone for a second.
I
Hey, Uzi.
heard somebody popping on. Who's that?
What's up? A lot of effort there. Thanks, Arch.
Oh, it's Mike the Snake. Mikey.
Thanks, Archie.
Put me on. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Your microphone is not muted, but it's low. It's
No,
low.
hold on. I forgot again. I'll always forget. I promise. I promise.
What happened to your voice, dude? What happened to your voice? I'm sick. What about you? What's happened to your voice?
He doesn't have his mic on, his main mic. He has his backup mic on.
Hey, Uzi.
Yo, what's up?
We need the main mic.
Listen, I just want to let you know I reached out to my loyal, trusted, 100+ purchase watch dealer and asked
Okay.
about the 2023 or 2024. He said he can get one in a day, and it should be 34 to 35.5. So there's your
Right.
price. You got the right price, but you just got a guy who can't get it. Why? Because he doesn't have the money. Your fucking watch dealer doesn't have the money to buy it. That's why. And then you know what he's going to say. Then he's going to take your watch. He's got to sell those to get the money. And then he's going to get it from other dealer and then promise to pay him in a week.
I think he has the money. I think the guy's got the money. I do.
Only comes from action, and he can't produce. This shit should have been wrapped up yesterday. You should be wearing it with pride right now.
I know.
That's
I wish I could show you the 2 new picks, or there's some new picks I sent to watch, Nick.
No new picks on the show.
Not
we
new.
Don't want to get it. So
the new picks, Patrick. If you could see it, it looks pretty good.
The 22?
Yeah, it looks fucking crisp.
Well, I don't have any issues with a 22.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a super crisp looking 22, who cares if it's a 22 or 24? Is that
Now you're coming
right?
along. That's good, but you're worried about polishing, and it's, these things have to get. You can't take a watch and just resell it. You got to clean it up a little bit. Doesn't mean they're putting a grinding wheel on it.
Right. So get over the polishing fact, because I'm not buying vintage 95s. Right. Just leave that mindset.
Polished. It depends if the
even
guy's
a vintage 95 nicely polished isn't a problem.
Even a 2023, they're going to clean it up.
So just expect that, pretty much.
Unless you're fella and you're literally going to say no to anything that's anybody.
I think it's been polished. If it weren't polished, they wouldn't be calling it new old stock. They would just say it's unworn.
Yeah, well, nothing's unworn unless it's truly unworn.
Nothing's unworn unless it's brand new.
Exactly.
So,
right.
They're not. Yeah. So I mean, come on.
Listen, you still got to outlay $2,000, or you're fair.
Well, the $2,000 was all. Hold on, the $2,000 was already there. I went up to 4K if it was a 2024 unworn, quote unquote. But now I'm backpedaling. I'm like, wait a second. No, if you're giving me a 2022, we're going back to that initial deal, 2K on top, my guy. Like, don't play with me.
That's right.
Don't play with me, or else give me my shit back.
There's a significant difference between a 22 and a 24. It doesn't seem like no money wise. Like if you, there are people that will pay the extra $2,000, make it a total of $4,000 for the 24. So yeah, you shouldn't have to pay over the $2,000 to get the 22.
I was about to do that. You saw that, but this time I'm learning now that he came back with a 2022 that's acceptable to me in my eyes. I want that 2K knocked off, motherfucker. You know, or else
it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been put on there anyway.
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
No, it shouldn't have been on there. He shouldn't have added it.
He didn't add it. I did.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Because he couldn't find a 2024 that he was willing to make profit. He was able to make profit off of. So I said, okay, dude, just here's fucking 2K extra. Give him my fucking shit. Now that he's trying to bring a 2022 back, I'm like, okay, yeah, knock that. But he has a 2024 as well. But I said, send both picks. And now I'm trying to drop it to. I'm playing with this guy, man.
Well, you got to be. Here's the other thing. You got to be fair to the dealer too. These guys.
I'm trying to be.
Because you know what? It's not really that much up to them. Rolex prices are fucking Rolex prices. Unless you get some guy who's hurting and willing to take a loss. This is a commodity. I hate to say it that way because it's not, but you know what I mean.
See.
Meaning you got to, like, I always want my guy to make money. Always. But that's because he buys right.
Tommy says this is bizarro, Uzi. Is it wait? Is the situation bizarro, or are you saying I'm being bizarre right now? I need like clarification.
I think he might mean you're being bizarro because of this whole polishing thing.
Well,
Or is it better
you've
now?
got to consider that I came into this game vintage. I came into
Think of
this
it this way.
game vintage.
Think of it this way: if you ever see how they actually
Neo vintage.
work on a watch, how they tape up and brush the regular links, and how they polish the centers. I mean, the side of the case is flat. You just got to watch the edges, and a good guy is a good guy. They don't fuck it up. But no, trust me.
What watch are you considering spending this amount of money on?
Come again?
I'll take it from here. Hey,
What
Mike,
kind of watch?
It's a gold Submariner.
A yellow gold
a
sub.
Yellow gold sub. Oh, beautiful, nice, very cool, man.
Solid gold dancer.
Okay.
Solid gold
okay.
dancer. Solid gold dancer.
Solid gold prancer.
If that's what your
Solid
heart
gold
wants,
prancer.
go for it.
Solid
And
gold dancer.
Just get it, man. I wouldn't even haggle that hard on price. So just get it, because you're paying right in the ballpark, right? You're not paying like
Mike's got it.
incredibly over or incredibly less. Either way, right? Whether one of you makes out a little better or not, you're still paying what 99% of everybody's going to be paying for one, no matter who they buy it from right now, because Rolex is kind of just, its prices are what they are when they are.
And it's
like
now, and it's right now.
It's now or never.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
Uzi, you've already lost all the money you're going to lose on watches. You should be done with that. And this trade isn't so great either, because you're actually doing pretty decent. But either way, you put it all behind you. When you get this watch, you're solid on the money. It's never going to go
I'm
below
losing
32,
10K on the deal,
34.
but it's okay.
Yeah, but this is the last money you should be losing. Stop making stupid deals. When you see a guillotine, please don't lay down and put your neck in there. Please stop
Right?
doing
Meow.
that.
You got to stay out of the guillotine.
Yeah, that's what life's all
for
about.
me. That's
Keep
my
your
job.
neck out of the guillotine.
Man, it's
Show
a
me
watch
the-
business. It's not easy. I seems like I'm losing
Keep
a
your
fucking
neck
easy
out
10K
of
each
the
deal. Huh?
guillotine.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. Like 10K loss per deal is like my average, probably.
Hello. Hello. Hey, I'm here to talk to Uzi. I hear Uzi's got a watch deal I can get involved with. I can find you a 2024. I got a
Is this
2024 right here.
Oh shit, Sean's on with us.
It's the
think that's
wizard.
Wizard.
Stefano. This is Stefano Della Costa.
the
It's a
wizard.
Weezer.
I got a
Yeah,
2024
very
right here
reputable.
for you. If you need a 2024, I got one right here for you.
Is
Hey,
it new?
Uzi.
Is it new old stock or has it been polished?
Brand fucking new,
Brand
man.
new.
It's
Stickers
fucking
still on it.
Unworn
has the
stickers? I
Yep.
want to start off with the stickers like plastic did. I want the stickers.
here in Canada, where I'm protected by the law. It's brand fucking new. Brand new.
It's just like a
my
brand
heart.
new.
Brand new. Rolex
Just like
new.
brand
Just
new.
like my heart.
So it's pretty much at the AD, huh? So we gonna go to the AD and what's going on?
Just send me your other watches. I'll take care of it from there. You're gonna love them. I'll clean them up. I'll get you the best money you ever had. Top dollar. Top dollar. I'm the wizard, goddammit. I do wizardly things.
Do you have any yachts anywhere? Do you have yachts? Because if you have yachts, I'll
I
use
got
you.
a penthouse in Japan. You know, when I designed the penthouse, the entire house, they gave me the free penthouse just because I did such a good job on my architectural work.
In Hong Kong and Japan.
Okay.
Both
Brick and
places.
mortar. Do you got a brick and mortar shop? Are you on any Facebook groups? Because that's where I usually find these at.
Everything comes to my basement.
Does it ever leave the basement?
All my stock is in the basement. I got a little overhead. It was easy.
My favorite story about the wizard is the one that Hoff on Smash always says, that he was thinking about doing a deal with the wizard, and his wife walks in, sees the wizard sitting there in his messed up stinky T-shirt, and 4 walls around him. It says, "You're going to buy it from that guy? From that
That
guy?"
was the problem.
One
That
last
was a
question,
bad-
Wizard.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your safe fire
was a
rated?
bad day.
What's
I
your
had my
fire rated
white
at? How
t-shirt
long can
on.
it
I had
withstand a fire?
spaghetti stains all over it. My son came over for a visit, and he brought spaghetti in the ragu jar.
That's some good stuff there.
What's the last question, Ozzy?
How long is your safe fire rated for? Because the last guy told me, "Oh, I got a safe that's fire rated for an hour." I was like, "Okay, that makes me feel comfortable." Yeah,
I had a
fire
bad
rated
connection
safe.
here. What'd you say, Uzi? What's the
The
fire
fire.
This guy
rating?
isn't
What's
the
your
real wizard.
what's your
I
safe
am the
fire rated
wizard.
for, dude?
I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I think the call's being traced. I gotta hang up and call back. I gotta go.
See you later, man.
That's the way it goes there, guys. We had some fantastic, and we got a super chat from Fella. $2 ADAM. I am look at me owner or a nice guy. AD, am I a look at me owner or a nice guy? Definitely look at me, look at me, look at me. Even the incredible stuff, it's all look at me, look at me, look at me. I got to be honest with you, fella. What do you need to prove? I don't understand it. It's all look at me, look at me, look at me.
That's what
Would
we
you
call
buy
Harley
it?
riders in the States.
Would you buy it if it was cheaper? You're buying things because it's so expensive and you can. I get it. That's cool. But sometimes it's like Breguet. You got to appreciate Breguet. Breguet is a brand that you appreciate because it's amazing stuff.
Give me a
It is-
sec, Archie. Your audience
Yes.
is saying that your audience is saying that Wolven has one even cheaper. Does Wolven have the same one?
I got no idea. How do I know? Tell me this. How do I know?
He very well could. He
He's
very
wearing his
well
fucking
could.
stained shirts every day.
But doesn't mean I know he's. I don't work. I don't work
Ah,
in the store,
whatever.
do I?
Okay, yeah, fuck that guy. Don't help him with any kind of business.
not
Wear his fucking shirt.
No.
Get spaghetti stains on him. See if I give a fuck. Sorry for talking.
Wolven is not Wizard. Wizard is the one with the.
I thought you've
stained
already
shirt,
done
not
the deal. Uzi, I thought
I
you've
didn't
already
do the
done.
fucking deal. I'm talking about the deal. You don't even listen to me when I talk.
I thought you've sent your watches off, haven't you, as a trade, or what happened?
I can get him back.
Well, don't you? Shouldn't
How's
you do
that
the
work?
deal with who you've already agreed to do the
Don't
deal?
ask. Don't ask, guy. I get myself into some situations here. Okay, don't judge me either.
Yeah, no, I understand completely, man. You get no judgment from me at all.
I don't understand what the problem is. I don't
I-
understand.
Sometimes deals get like kind of a little wabi sabi mixed in with them just because it is the way it is. You know, people are weird, and so you end up sending something off early or beforehand, and or making a move you wouldn't normally make otherwise. But yeah, no worries, man. I just hope it works out for you, and you get the watch you want for sure.
You might want to shop around on the price, though.
I'm sick of shopping.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if this guy's got it and you can get it right now, and it's $500, more, just fucking get it in your hands now.
All right, I gotta go. I'm gonna go get some spaghetti. See you guys later.
But look, Uzi, just do the
What,
deal,
what?
man. I don't understand. You've done the deal. When you get the watch, I want to know, when do you get it? I thought the watch was on its way to you. What the hell is this story, man? Have you done
don't
this?
even want to hear it. You don't even want to hear it. Okay.
No,
I've
what's
said
the
it too many
story? I
times.
wanna
No, I
know
can't do it. I'll do it once I get the watch. I'll tell you the whole
What's the
story.
story? I don't understand,
It
man.
just keeps on taking more loops. Okay. More twists,
What?
more turns. It keeps on getting deeper and
That's
deeper.
why. Has he
Why
sent
don't
it
you
to
just
you?
Sorry
ask
for
them if
that.
it's been polished? Just ask the question.
I'm out of here, dude. I'm getting you guys ain't helping. See
I
ya.
don't understand what the problem
Well,
is. The watch
I-
looks fine to
Good
me.
luck, man.
It looks
Good luck,
fine
Uzi.
to me.
Did he say more lube, deeper and deeper? Did I hear that incorrectly?
Yeah, but I don't know what that
I don't
means.
know what the problem is. The watch is so beautiful. Just enjoy it, Uzi.
Yeah, no, I think he's.
I think he has a hard
Sounds to me
time
like,
enjoying it mentally if it's been polished.
yeah, I mean, you might have some preconceptions about it, or who knows, how polished it is,
It's
without.
psychological, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Spock. I think it's Spock.
super light buff is just fine.
I mean, this watch I have is what? How old is this thing, Archie? I think it's a 75. This is old stuff. I know
50
somebody's
years old.
polished
This
it.
bear.
Somebody's polished it a whole bunch of times. Somebody's polished this sucker. It's like, what? I mean, for gosh sakes, it's got service subdial hands on it. Of course it's been polished. God.
Does it matter? I don't see how it's a
I
big
mean,
problem.
No.
At
No,
some
it
point
doesn't
or
matter
another,
to me.
they're all brushed, aren't they? At some point or another. I mean, they all have to be, right?
It's brushed and polished, and somebody's redone the polishing because
Like,
they
it's
had
a
to replace
beautiful
the
watch.
service.
The watch you sent me pictures
Ah.
of, it's really
Who
quite
cares?
gorgeous.
But I will say, if he can get a new one for the same price, then he's probably paying more than he should.
I see Bear. Bear Cloney says, "Hi guys, we had a great show. Someone's dying from
Bear?
cancer somewhere. Taxes need to be calculated and lunches are being made. And let's thank everyone." This is from Bear. I think Bear's taking the piss for Archie doing his taxes earlier. I think that was on the morning
Yeah,
show.
no, Bear. I'm just gonna load those photos up. I got the photos from Uzi, and I got to be honest with you, the watch itself looks fucking beautiful. I don't understand. Some people are just never happy. You know what I mean? Like, they're just never happy, no matter
Well,
what you give them.
it's a lot of money he's
they
playing around
They are
with.
never. It just looks superb. It looks fucking superb. This watch.
I know it's crazy.
Absolutely. I'm just pulling it up.
Some people get an IWC and they're never happy. They fucking sell it the next day. They're never happy.
Some people get a
Exactly.
Breitling and they're never happy.
Oh, me?
What's wrong with this watch here? Tell me I don't understand.